Merry Christmas, everyone. You know what would be a very festive holiday video? A scenario where Goku and Gohan face severe mental anguish. So, I've seen this pop up very frequently nowadays, and originally, I didn't want to do a scenario like this, but a lot of people have asked, like, a lot. It's probably the most requested scenario I've received because people want to see my version of this, even if I am late. Frankly, I saw so many other people doing concepts like this and thought it might be boring. But as a Christmas gift, I'll do my own version of it. However, this scenario is not going to be about Goku getting betrayed or whatever. I found a way to do a similar story while also giving it my own twist and making it something that I personally enjoy. Plus, it involves Gohan too. It's a win-win-win for everyone. Well, except maybe for Goku and Gohan. You guys requested this scenario, I get to make it in a different format, and there's another fun aspect. Fun for us, not for Goku and Gohan. Today, we begin the story, what if Goku and Gohan were trapped in the time chamber? So where does this actually start? Well, let's go all the way back to the Cell Saga, when Goku and Gohan go into the Room of Spirit and Time together. Now, they're not too worried about this. I mean, Goku has used it before and knows its intent, but he was able to leave. And look at Vegeta, he and Trunks just left there after a year. There's nothing to worry about with this room, whatever it takes to get Gohan's power unlocked. Things go normally at first. For a few months, nothing changes about their training. Goku discovers a new level of Super Saiyan, and Gohan unlocks Super Saiyan for himself. They continue working with this, but Goku knows there's more power within Gohan. He just needs to bring it out somehow. Unknowingly though, he's playing with fire. It takes some time, but eventually, Gohan is able to unleash that power. Of course, he isn't able to control it at first, but there is a brief moment where he goes into Super Saiyan 2, and his anger explodes. But something's off. Goku realizes, this power is far greater than he expected. This is great, it'll definitely help him defeat Cell. And from Gohan's aura alone, he could feel the entire room shaking. Gohan's then burned out, falling to the ground. He powers back down into base, unconscious. Goku's glad to have seen that power, and he brings Gohan back to the area where they sleep. But his eyes widen. Something's wrong. When the room was shaking, something's broke. The timer, it fell over. Some of the walls are crumbled. Now, that's not really an issue for them, but the door, it's gone. With Gohan powering up, the door got destroyed. Goku starts panicking. There's no way out of here. What the hell are they supposed to do now? On the outside, nobody even realizes what's happening. Well, at first at least. Eventually a day does pass, and Goku and Gohan don't leave the time chamber. That's weird. Well, everyone's considering, maybe Goku and Gohan decided to stay in there for a full 2 years. Use all the time that they're able to use, actually. It's just weird that Goku wouldn't communicate this to them. Like, he wouldn't come out of the Room of Spirit and Time and then tell them. But then another day passes. They still don't exit. They're almost at the 48-hour mark, and right before it hits that time, Piccolo opens the door, and he sees nothing. The door leads to nowhere. It's just an empty room. Where's the time chamber? Back on the inside of the room, Goku and Gohan are trying everything to exit. Already, 2 years have passed. They're trying to do everything in their power to get out of here, but there's nothing to do. They need more power. Maybe if they grow strong enough, there'll be a way to break out. But there's an issue. They gotta try and ration food somehow. Thankfully, with them being Saiyans, they kinda overstocked the place because they knew Saiyans would eat a lot. So if they actually eat like normal people, maybe they can conserve some of the food, but still. It's been 2 years already and they still have no way out. What's even worse is the fact that the Cell games are approaching. Them being trapped in here not only affects their safety, but the safety of everybody else on the outside. Gohan's power, now he actually has control over Super Saiyan 2 with the 2 years in here. But it's useless because he can't use it against Cell if he's stuck in here. They spend more time, trying to accumulate more power. Gohan gets more practice with Super Saiyan 2, while Goku eventually gets it for himself as well. A few days pass on the outside. Everyone's terrified. The Cell games are getting closer and closer, and Goku and Gohan are nowhere to be seen. They can't even use the Dragon Balls help because, well, there's no Dragon Balls right now. It's almost been a week at this point. Piccolo stays on the lookout, trying to monitor everything. Everyone else is going about their lives like normal, trying to train just to prepare for the Cell games. Even though this is an issue, there's another issue that they need to focus on. At least with Cell, they can kind of control what's going on there. With Goku and Gohan, all they can do is wait, and sitting up there on the lookout won't do anything for them. Well, except for Piccolo, who could call this his new home and actually train up here. But the lookout begins shaking. The Room of Spirit and Time completely crumbles, and in the center of it, Piccolo sees what looks like a window, some sort of portal or whatever. It slowly opens up, and he can feel an overwhelming presence from within it. Then a pair of eyes glares through, with the eyes widened. He doesn't know what this is, but a person jumps through. A man in the same Saiyan armor that Goku and Gohan were wearing before. And he looks like Goku, and he looks like Gohan, but he isn't Gohan. He's an adult. Also, he's got no eyebrows and long hair. Another person jumps through the portal too. He looks very similar, and then Piccolo realizes who these two are. They power down. It's Goku and Gohan, with Gohan now being older. That power that they had, what the hell was it? Goku and Gohan have nothing to say. They finally got out of there, after all those years. They're able to accumulate enough power to break free, using force to get out. Years and years of isolation had a toll on them. But they finally did it. First order of business, Goku puts 2 fingers on his forehead, teleporting away to King Kong's planet. He knew that they didn't have any Dragon Balls, so the first thing he wanted to do when he left is to get more of them. He gives Gohan a new outfit, and Gohan begins explaining. He's going to Namek, and Gohan tells Piccolo this, but Piccolo's more concerned about what the hell happened with them. He's glad to see they're okay and they're able to escape, but how? And Gohan explains. At some point, he showed off a power beyond Super Saiyan, and it was so strong that it broke the door to the room, trapping them in there for good. Eventually, he gained full control over this power, hoping it'll help them break out, and Goku even did too, but it wasn't enough. They kept on training, and eventually discovered a level beyond that as well. Super Saiyan 3 they call it, but even that wasn't enough. They spent more time powering up, and eventually, with their combined strength, they were essentially able to break reality in there, opening a portal back to the realm that they once knew. Now, for Goku, it wasn't too terrible. Still very bad, but not as bad as for Gohan. For Gohan, this was nearly half his life that he spent in there, and Piccolo can see, his demeanor's completely different. He seems a lot more stoic than normal. They even lost track of time in there, but they ask Piccolo what day it is. They got out right before the Cell games began, so they still have some time to rest or whatever, but Gohan says no. They just want to get this over with. He then places 2 fingers on his forehead, teleporting to the Cell games arena. Yeah, with him spending so many years training, it's only natural that he'd pick up on this technique as well from Goku. They had more than enough time to practice. Cell's waiting there patiently, and is glad to see somebody appeared. But this fighter doesn't look like anyone he's seen before. Well, it looks sorta similar. And then he picks up on the fighter's energy. That's Gohan's ki. And he does look like Gohan after all. But why is he older? But then realization hits Cell. He begins laughing. Another time traveler, just like Trunks. He keeps chuckling. They thought they could trick him. He knew about future Gohan. Maybe in the timeline that Trunks came from, future Gohan never died and he's just meeting him now. A clever trick, but it's not gonna get past him. And Gohan has no idea what he's talking about. There is no other Gohan. He tells Cell it's a good theory, but no. Cell's taken aback and then asks, Who is this then? Gohan looks right at him, assuming a battle stance. He's Gohan. He launches towards Cell in base, and he's furious. He sacrificed his life for this, not knowing that he'd be trapped in there for so long. Gohan blames himself for getting trapped in there because he couldn't control his power, but it's also Cell's fault. He's the reason they had to use the room in the first place, and he wastes no time beating on Cell. And Cell then goes full power, trying to fight back, but Gohan's completely unfazed. Cell throws a punch at Gohan, and Gohan catches it, crushing his hand. He tells Cell that he's glad that they could finally end this, and a golden aura surrounds his arm, then creeping around the rest of his body as well. Cell tries to break his hand free, but he can't. Gohan's grip is too strong. This can't be the power of a normal Super Saiyan, can it? And Gohan says it isn't. He powers up. His hair grows considerably. His eyebrows disappear. This is Super Saiyan 3. He's still holding Cell's fist, and without wasting any more time, he launches a ki blast point blank. Cell is eradicated within an instant. Nothing is left, and Gohan immediately powers back down. There's no regeneration here, no nothing. Cell is gone. After the sacrifice they had to make in there, Gohan didn't want to play around. He wanted to make sure Cell was dealt with, and he could have done so in base, but he wanted to be very sure. Gohan teleports back to the lookout, and everyone's already up there, since Piccolo told him to come up, and they see Gohan for the first time. Gohan simply tells them, Cell's dealt with. Goku then teleports back in with Dende, and nobody even knows what to say. After all those years they spent in there, they can't imagine what's going through Goku and Gohan's minds, but also what they had to do to escape. Piccolo gave them all a brief rundown, but now Goku and Gohan can go into more detail, and they show off their brand new power. They didn't just go beyond Super Saiyan, they went beyond. Just to make it simpler, call it Super Saiyan 3, a level beyond Super Saiyan 2. Everyone's completely dumbfounded looking at this form. The power emanating from it, it's unlike anything they've ever sent before. The gap it's so much. No wonder Gohan was able to eradicate Cell with such ease. But even in their base, they're just so incredibly powerful. They can't even fathom this power. With Cell defeated, and with a new pair of Dragon Balls here, that means everything is solved. A wish is made to revive everyone killed by Cell, and inadvertently that does revive the androids as well. But all the damage is restored. Trunks returns home, thanking everyone, and apologizing to Goku and Gohan, but he did nothing wrong. He does feel some guilt though, what they had to go through to defeat Cell. Not to mention, him messing with time is what brought Cell here too. But they tell Trunks again, that's not on him. He still saved them. They wouldn't have known about Cell, and their future would have ended up exactly like his had he not come here. But he still feels bad, especially seeing Gohan now. He lost his childhood. He's almost a young adult by now, and that gets Goku and Gohan to realize, crap, they're gonna have to show Chi-Chi too. Eventually they get back home, and Chi-Chi has no idea how to react. She's sad but also furious at the same time. And then Gohan defends Goku saying, it wasn't his fault, it was his. He couldn't control his power, he was the one who destroyed the door. But she says Goku still took him in there. And you know, even though they spent all those years in the Room of Spirit and Time, and they could prepare for essentially any threat on the outside, they couldn't prepare for what Chi-Chi's reaction would be. Although, it's not as explosive as they assume, so at least that's a good thing. Goku does have an idea. He's gonna go to Dende for a second, bring Gohan with him. They ask Dende, is it possible for them to use a wish to restore their ages but retain that same power? Well, Dende's not sure if Shenron's strong enough to do that. Even if they're willingly making this wish and allowing Shenron to do so, he's not sure if Shenron will have that ability. Their strength is just so far beyond what Shenron's capable of by now, that he might not be able to alter their bodies without altering their power too. Now, this wouldn't be that bad for Goku, but for Gohan, they're basically asking to reverse his age back to a kid, but also retain that power of an adult, which would not work. He could make them youthful again, but it wouldn't erase their memories and such. Gohan was still robbed of a childhood regardless, and even if it does turn him back to where he was, he's still gonna be an adult in a kid's body. He was still robbed of his childhood, and he still went through all that turmoil. But also, something that hits Goku and Gohan too. Making a wish like this wouldn't erase their struggle. That still happened. Everyone would know, and they probably still would know too. And even though they want those years back, making a wish like this means that they're essentially reversing everything. And all that pain and misery they went through, it's worthless. Because essentially it wouldn't have happened at that point. It wouldn't really put them at ease because they'd still know what happened. It would make things worse, and erase that sacrifice. What's the point of going back to the age they were, and giving up all that power, if it means they're still gonna know what happened? Hell, everyone else is too. It happened. Shenron can't change the past. They're gonna have to move forward on their own. And Gohan makes a vow. He'll deal with this on his own, and he'll use this power to his fullest. He doesn't want that sacrifice to go to waste. After everything they went through, he'll make sure to not let go of this power. And Goku agrees. Forgetting this would mean their sacrifice is worthless. And instead they could take it in stride, using it to go forward, becoming greater than ever before. Things may seem bad right now, but this is a new chapter for both of them. It's gonna be a very strange adjustment for Gohan, but they're optimistic. The two of them have made it through worse. They fought aliens invading from space. They fought an evil space emperor. They fought an android from the future, one genetically engineered to kill them, and they overcame all of that. They can overcome this as well, especially with what they gain in exchange for it. It definitely does affect their outlook, and that's going to be seen more as the story goes on. They'll make this work. They'll make the best of it. Dende begins planning to build a new room of spirit and time, because not only does that need to be rebuilt, but also, part of the lookout was destroyed. With a portal like that opening and the power that Goku and Gohan were giving off, yeah, the lookout doesn't look too great right now. Piccolo also recommends this too, because, well, he was a kami. He wants to make sure that this place looks nice. So the two of them are going to restore this and possibly even build a new room. As Goku and Gohan leave, somebody else then comes up to the lookout. It's Vegeta. The power that they have. He knows that they went through such a great sacrifice for that, and they didn't do it willingly. But he's intrigued. Super Saiyan 2. Super Saiyan 3. Imagine the possibilities. Even if it's dangerous, he wants to use a room of spirit and time next, and he goes up to request exactly what they're about to do. Build another room of spirit and time. But they tell Vegeta, really? After all that Goku and Gohan went through? And Vegeta says he doesn't care. He can handle it. He'll willingly be in there for as long as he needs. They can definitely make the room stronger. They can also remove that limit. Let him be in there for as long as he wants to be. And yeah, they were going to make it stronger regardless to avoid anything like this ever happening again. They were kind of unsure if they should even build it again in the first place, but it still is a valuable tool. They're just going to make some adjustments to it. And Vegeta's glad to hear this. As soon as it's done, he wants to know. He's going to go right in and use it for as long as he can. It'll make him stronger, and also, it'll give him a better understanding of what Goku and Gohan went through. Yeah, he was in there for a year, but only a year. It's a risky idea, but he wants to see what using this room will do to him. Maybe he can get that same power, or at least Super Saiyan 2, even if he can't achieve 3. The thing is, they got that power out of necessity though. It wasn't just because they were training in there. Their objective changed partway through. They did that out of a need for power, a need to escape from here. Vegeta doesn't even know what's possible, especially because he doesn't want to end up trapped in there like them too. At least in his pursuit of power though, he feels that it could be beneficial. Vegeta has a new goal in mind, while Goku and Gohan now have to live these new lives. More so for Gohan than Goku. Chi-Chi's mad to have missed Gohan's childhood, but at least Gohan's still here. One of his first tasks to get adjusted to normal life is studying. Well, if he's that much older now, he's gonna have to study like he's that much older. He didn't really get much of that done in the Room of Spirit and Time after all. And it may seem like a chore, but it's good for some normalcy to return to his life at least. For the first time in all these years, Gohan feels a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more content. He's not gonna let this power go, but he's also gonna learn to cope with it too. And he has a great amount of people supporting him along the way too. Hell, there's even someone that went through the exact same thing. Slowly, Gohan's adjustment to his new life begins. Immediately, now that they're getting adjusted to their normal lives again, Gohan realized how strange of an experience this is going to be. Goku at least was already an adult, but for Gohan, he has to cope with what happened to his life. As mentioned last time, he lost all of his childhood. Granted, it's not like he's an old man now, but he's nearly an adult. He still does want to be a scholar, but he's going to have to really adjust his plans because now he's far behind where he should be. And he will still keep studying, but he's also going to focus more on his power now. With the time he spent in there, it would be pointless to let it go to waste. And even though it's not as bad for Goku, it still was pretty bad for Goku, just not as terrible as it was for Gohan. He gets adjusted to normal life again pretty easily. He has physically aged, but it's not really that apparent because as a Saiyan, he's still pretty much in his prime. And now he has all those extra years of training and experience under his belt, becoming far stronger than he ever could have expected. Of course, Gohan's above him right now, but Goku, he's not too far behind. Gohan's the undisputed number 1, and Goku's the undisputed number 2. Then, there's a massive gap. So massive that no one can even comprehend how big the gap is. Goku is so far above everybody else, especially with Super Saiyan 3. One of the best things for Gohan to do is to actually spend time training more. Goku and Gohan are going through the same thing together, so a lot of the time they spend bonding actually really helps, as the two face this awkward period of readjusting to life on the outside. Goku has a more optimistic outlook than Gohan, and Gohan is trying to be optimistic, but still, nearly half his life so far was spent in there. That isn't something that he's going to get over with or cope with right away. It's a very big struggle for Gohan. A lot of the time he spent training with Goku is also time spent training with Piccolo. Piccolo wants to see more of this power that they unlocked, and realizes it's far beyond his comprehension. Obviously, he got to see it before, but seeing it again, he still can't believe it. No wonder their power was enough to actually break out of there. And they're actually pretty practiced with Super Saiyan 3. It still does have the same drawbacks that it does normally. But they've had some time to work with it, and because of how great the power is, they're not going to let that power go. They're not just going to ignore Super Saiyan 3. They're going to try and perfect its flaws. Unlike in the main story where Goku was dead and didn't even notice the flaws, here, they noticed it pretty much right away when they unlocked it. Soon enough, Goten is going to be born too, and the gap in power is just going to be massive. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's still a hybrid Saiyan, and he's still going to be pretty strong. The thing is, nothing's really going to change about his strength, and at this point in the story, he's still a baby anyways, so it doesn't even really matter. It's not like the story changed the genetics of Goku or Gohan, it just meant they spent a lot more time training, so that's not really going to affect Goten. Goku and Gohan's training is focused on pure strength, but also, it's more of an all-around type thing. As for Piccolo, he can't really help with the strength aspect because he can't really match Gohan in terms of power. It's kind of hard to train him when Gohan's already so far above. But he can help with the mental side, acting as some sort of guidance for Goku and Gohan. He has all the wisdom of Kami and, well, himself. This will help them on a couple different fronts, specifically coping with what happened, and also trying to harness that power somehow. It's more than just brute strength after all. Another big change is that Gohan has to study on his own now. He never ends up going to a normal school and continues just being tutored and trying to teach himself. That also means he's never going to meet Videl. And even if he did, with the way Gohan is right now, that's obviously not going to work. Maybe he'd meet someone else down the line though. More time passes. Gohan eventually ends up mastering Super Saiyan 3, but he can go further. He knows he can. Goku ends up following suit too. Of course falling behind Gohan even further, but is still very powerful. But they wonder, what's Vegeta up to? At a certain point, the room of Spirit and Time is rebuilt, and Vegeta immediately goes inside. Not with anyone else, he just goes in completely alone. It's out of morbid curiosity. No, he's not going to purposely lock himself in there like them, and that's not even going to happen anymore. There's been safeguards put in against that so it doesn't happen again. And the room has been upgraded to the point where it could probably withstand the force of something like that. Probably. So if someone were to turn Super Saiyan 2 in there, the door's not going to explode again. Piccolo, Goku, and Gohan all suggested some upgrades, with Piccolo, Dende, and Popo rebuilding it together. Vegeta's going to be the first one to break it in. Obviously, it's not his first time being in there, but he feels this will be effective. He's going to try to brute force power. He knows what he's aiming for now. Super Saiyan 2 and Super Saiyan 3. He can get those. He knows they exist, and he has info from Goku and Gohan. He's going to utilize that to make himself stronger. There's been points in this time period so far where he's tried to fight with Goku, but he really can't. They've had that rematch that they've been talking about. Actually, a couple times even. But it's not even really a rematch because Goku's so far ahead of Vegeta that, well, it's not even a contest. And that's part of the reason Vegeta wants to do this. Not just to surpass Goku, but also because he does want to get stronger in general. I mean, that's never going to change. Although, it's not really as effective training in here. First of all, he's alone, and second of all, at a certain point, he gives in. He stays in for about 2 years, and does unlock Super Saiyan 2. But he sees the torment these two went through. He was in here for 2 years, and could have left whenever he wanted. Him being alone not only affects the rate at which he grows in terms of strength, but it also affects his mentality. Like, obviously it's worth noting that Vegeta's not going to get as strong if he doesn't have a training partner in there. But more importantly, being secluded in a room that's that intense, with nobody else to interact with for 2 years, that takes a toll on Vegeta. The good thing is that he's able to leave when it becomes too much for him, but it lets him see a fraction of what Goku and Gohan went through. At least for them, it wasn't one person in there alone. They had each other. He can't imagine what it would have been like if only one of them was trapped inside there alone. That would have been even more torturous. But they spent so many years in here, years on end, facing the intense conditions of the room, and having no contact with anyone besides themselves. Not to mention they had to ration food and everything. They were in there for years, while Vegeta could and did leave whenever he wanted to. They did not have that luxury. He He can't imagine the baggage they're carrying. So not only does his training give him some more power and lets him unlock Super Saiyan 2, but gives him a better understanding of Goku and Gohan. He already knows them decently well by this point. And he kinda knew this going in, but he sees how unhealthy of a method of training this is. They only did it out of necessity because there was nothing else to do in there, and that was their only way to escape. But it gives Vegeta a completely new perspective on those two. He knew what they went through before, but now he experienced that, at least partially. It was only a fraction of what they had. But even so, it was enough to show him how torturous that was. More years pass. Vegeta ends up growing closer with them. His rivalry with Goku does continue. Even though there's a big gap in power, they do spar from time to time, with Vegeta also sparring with Gohan, and actually finding a new rival within Piccolo. They're at a similar level of power. Vegeta's above Piccolo, of course, but the gap in power between them is not nearly as big as it is between Vegeta and Goku. Vegeta accepts that he probably won't get as strong as Goku anytime soon, at least not with any traditional methods. And that's going to have a big effect later on because soon enough we go into the Buu Saga. Well, it would, but the Buu Saga is going differently here. First of all, it doesn't happen when it normally did. Just as a side note, if Babidi did try to possess Vegeta, it wouldn't work here. But there's no need for that. Babidi's actually acting a lot more covertly here. There's already so much energy on Earth that he doesn't need to wait until the World Tournament. He could actually strike earlier on. There's so much energy to steal. There's no momentous event. He just attacks at random. One day, during Goku and Gohan's training, Goku's attacked. A random demon-looking guy comes in, holding some strange device, stabbing Goku with it. Goku could feel the energy being drained. And just as quickly as it happens, the man is gone. Immediately after, the two Kais teleport in, Shin and Kibito. They sense a spike of some sort of ominous energy here. They knew Babidi was out there somewhere, but they didn't realize he was planning to strike right now. This was all on a whim. They had no time to prepare for this, and they feel awful about it. This is bad. Kibito heals Goku. Although Goku's at a good level right now, not too much energy was taken from him. Well, there was a lot of energy taken from him, but relative to the total amount of power that Goku has, it wasn't a large percentage, which is concerning. Shin and Kibito recognize how powerful he is, and even if only a fraction of his energy was stolen, that could be enough for Buu. Gohan immediately teleports in. With Piccolo and Vegeta, actually. He sensed what was going on. And they all see Shin and Kibito. Shin and Kibito give a brief rundown, but they can't spend too much time explaining. They gotta find Deborah and stop him before he gets back to Buu. But they have no way of sensing him. He's concealing his ki, and they don't know where Babidi is either. They know the general direction that Deborah headed in though, so they fly over there. They waste no time either, flying as fast as they can. And eventually, they come across some sort of spaceship. Waiting outside of it is Deborah. Gohan looks over at Goku and nods, and immediately flies downwards. Deborah assumes a battle stance, ready to fight. As Gohan flies down towards the surface, he quickly transforms into Super Saiyan, and with a single punch, his fist pierces through Deborah's chest, with Deborah exploding as Gohan's ki surges throughout his body. Shin and Kibito's jaws drop. They killed Deborah that easily? And this isn't even Gohan's full power, not even close. This is his weakest transformation, and it was still able to do that, which concerns them even further. If Goku's on a somewhat similar level, and they got energy from him, imagine how much energy Buu has right now. And there's no need to imagine. Deborah wasn't protecting the ship at all. Babidi knew he would die. He was just a distraction. Gohan launches into the ship with Goku following, but it's too late. As they descend downwards, a huge plume of steam flies up. They're barely able to get out of the way in time. It's scorchingly hot. And from this plume of steam, a mysterious figure arises out of it, with Babidi standing on his shoulder. He thanks them all. They made the process relatively quick. Majin Buu has been awoken. Much quicker than normal, and much earlier than normal. Shin and Kibito curse everything. They can't believe it. They can't believe they didn't prepare for this. Piccolo interjects. It's a good thing they came here and helped. Even if they didn't know about Babidi striking right now, well, nobody did. The Kais at least gave them the info to work with to try and solve this issue. And this didn't happen due to the Kais' incompetence. It happened because they simply didn't know where and when Babidi would strike. So you know what, for once, let's cut Shin and Kibito some slack. They're doing their best. Well, Majin Buu isn't too fearsome for them though. Shin and Kibito are reassured by seeing Gohan's strength. Even one of them should be enough, but with both of them here, yeah, Majin Buu might actually not be that much of an issue. And Goku looks over at Gohan. He'll take this one. He hasn't actually had a chance to test out his full power yet against anybody. And maybe Buu will be a great opportunity. But before Goku can do anything, somebody else steps in. It's Vegeta. Vegeta says he hasn't had an opportunity either, and tells them he needs to do this. He asks them to please let him try. And they're surprised to hear this from Vegeta, but they can kinda understand it. They can tell that Vegeta probably feels sidelined seeing how strong they are, and this fight will be a great way for him to prove himself. They're not too sure, especially hearing how dangerous Majin Buu is, but they realize that Vegeta does need this. Well, at least they'll be here as backup in case anything goes wrong. Vegeta knows the risk. Shin and Kibito advise them against this. They should just end this now while they can. But Goku and Gohan want to see what Vegeta's capable of. and if something bad does occur, they could easily stop this battle. Although, Gohan's a bit unsure about this. The more he thinks about it, the more he realizes it might be better to just get rid of Buu while they can, instead of letting Vegeta fight him. Who knows what could go wrong? I mean, they saw what happened with Cell. Well, they didn't see it firsthand, but they heard about it. The way he got his perfect form. What if Buu finds a way to somehow get stronger during this battle? Is it worth the risk? Gohan's ready to attack at any moment, and they watch. Vegeta turns Super Saiyan 2, immediately going in to fight Buu, not wasting any time. And he is actually very powerful. Even if he's a form behind them, he's very strong. The most surprising part is, the two of them seem dead even. It shocks Babidi too, and he's concerned until he's killed by Vegeta. So he doesn't feel anything, because he's dead. He can't feel anything. Come on. They see Vegeta's working quickly, which is why he killed Babidi without hesitation. And he's actually holding Buu off. Vegeta's glad. He's this strong now. He didn't realize. Goku and Gohan are surprised too. They could sense Buu's power, and it is impressive. Not as impressive as theirs, but impressive. And Vegeta's fighting pretty evenly with him. Although, that's the issue. He's only fighting evenly with Buu. He's not above Buu, and Buu has regeneration and magic, which does pose an issue. Especially at a certain point where in the battle, Buu ends up splitting. He turns into some gray Buu and some pink Buu. And Vegeta's happy to see this. It should make it easier to kill him now if the power is split between the two of them. He goes towards the pink one first, trying to kill Fat Buu. And Gohan doesn't want to take any risk here. He immediately lunges in towards Evil Buu, and the Evil Buu then launches a beam at him. Gohan's about to knock it away, but Shin yells out, "Dodge it! Don't let that beam touch him!" And right before it's too late to dodge it, Gohan's able to move out of the way as he flies towards Evil Buu. The beam flies right past him, then splitting into two, curving. Vegeta and Good Buu aren't able to get out of the way in time. Each of them are hit by the beam, and Gohan looks back. They've been turned into candy. He turns back towards Evil Buu, but he's already vanished, then teleporting over to where the two others are, eating them as he grins in Gohan's direction. Well, it's a good thing he dodged that beam. But did Buu just kill Vegeta? He turned him into candy and ate him. And no, that's not what happened. Something much weirder happens. Evil Buu begins morphing. Now with Good Buu and Vegeta absorbed within him, he turns into Super Buu with the power of Vegeta, which we'll just call Boogeta. And he's definitely a lot stronger than before. Shin and Kibito think they're doomed, but Piccolo comments on the situation. Even with that increase in power, it's still not going to be enough to defeat Goku and Gohan. And now they know Buu's tricks, knowing to avoid it. It is a fearsome new foe, but he's not too fearsome in terms of strength, although there is a new concern for them now. They could easily kill Buu right now if they wanted, which they actually do want to, obviously. But if they kill Buu, that means they're also killing Vegeta. And Vegeta's already been revived by Earth's Dragon Balls once, so they can't just use that as a solution. They're gonna have to find some way to get Vegeta out of Buu, and then defeat Buu that way. Even with their great power, there's still limitations to how they could fight certain villains. But they'll figure out a way around it. The two of them are smart fighters, and they could definitely figure something out. But what exactly are they gonna do here? So, Goku and Gohan are kinda stumped now. Buu feels very confident in his new power, and immediately attacks them, but they're able to easily counter him. Actually, he only attacks Goku at first, and Goku alone is enough to counter Buu. And all the while Goku's fighting him, he's still talking to Gohan. He's multitasking. This angers Buu. He's not taking the fight seriously. And yeah, because Buu's not really a threat to them at the moment. They can hold him off, but they want to get Vegeta out of him so they can kill Buu. Gohan suggests just killing Buu and reviving Vegeta later with Purunga. That definitely will work. And Goku says, yeah, but they might be able to find another way. With the great power that they have, they could probably think of something else. And he's also surprised that Gohan would suggest this. He of all people would probably be looking for a better solution, right? Well, Gohan has a different outlook here. He doesn't necessarily want to jump right to killing, but he sees that as the best and quickest outcome, and the safest. He reminds Goku, after the years they've wasted so far, they shouldn't take any more risks. And he tries to convince Goku as they keep discussing. He doesn't want to mess around here, and Goku almost goes for it. But then Shin and Kibito intervene. Shin has one suggestion, if they do want to try it. He's not entirely sure if it'll work though, but if they don't immediately want to resort to killing Vegeta and Buu, there's one thing they could try, and Gohan reluctantly listens. Shin and Kibito actually have an idea though, but they're not too sure how it'll work. So they want Goku to use magic, although it's going to take him a while to learn it. They tell Goku that they have powers that might be able to help separate Vegeta from Buu, but the issue is that they're not strong enough to use it. Goku could definitely do that, but he doesn't have any magical abilities right now. He's going to have to actually learn how to utilize that, a completely new power system for him. Wait, so the issue is they need more time? Goku and Gohan are thinking the exact same thing, even though they hate the idea of it. So they could use the Room of Spirit and Time for this. And they explain what it is to Shin and Kibito, or at least Gohan explains it while Goku's holding off Buu. Neither of them likes the idea of going back in, but in order to save Earth, it might be worth it. And hey, the room is stronger this time, and they're only going to be training with magic, which hopefully means they won't accidentally destroy the room again. Shin says it should take a few days or weeks at most. That's good at least, they're not going to have to be in the room for too long. And Goku looks over to Gohan, telling him to take the fight with Buu. Goku's actually going to go in. Given how badly this affected Gohan before, he doesn't want to put him through that again. Even though the risk of them getting trapped again is significantly lower, he still knows how Gohan feels about the whole thing, and he feels the same way. But he's willing to do this in order to save Earth and allow Gohan to avoid that. Buu looks on confused as Shin, Kibito, and Goku then teleport away. And he asks Gohan what's happening. Gohan doesn't even explain to Buu. He just needs to buy some time for now, so he needs to stall Buu as long as possible. And it's not too hard. He only needs to use Super Saiyan 2 for this. And Buu tries coaxing Gohan into using more power. He has that Super Saiyan 3 form. Goku was even trying to use it beforehand. But then for some reason, he transformed out of it. And it's not because they have an issue with stamina or anything. They solved that a while ago. It's because Goku actually had to hold back here. And with Gohan being above him, he's gonna need to hold back even more. Hell, Super Saiyan 2 might even be overkill. And Buu wonders why he isn't taking this seriously. Gohan tells Buu he is taking it seriously. Buu just doesn't realize that yet. But Buu's angered by this response. If he's taking it seriously, why isn't he transformed? He wants to see that full power. He needs to fight Gohan at full strength. Buu tries to threaten Gohan, but the threats do nothing. He tries to threaten Earth. And that actually does do something, because while Gohan's strong enough to defend against Buu, Earth definitely isn't. He sticks a hand down towards the ground, beginning to charge a blast, telling Gohan he'll just blow up Earth if Gohan doesn't take this seriously. And he notices Gohan's demeanor change, and he smiles. But before he could do anything, Gohan then vanishes, and Buu feels a sharp pain to the back of his neck. Gohan's behind him, now in Super Saiyan 3, and with a single attack, he knocks Buu out. Gohan then de-transforms, surprised. You know, he didn't really expect that to be a possibility. And this is much easier than holding Buu off. Just keep him unconscious. Although, this is going to be kind of annoying now. He has to essentially babysit Buu and make sure he doesn't wake up, until Goku comes back at least. Meanwhile, Shin and Kibito brought Goku to the lookout, and they're now in the Room of Spirit and Time. Goku's training with these new powers, and it's strange. Learning magic seems very useful. It could come in handy in the future as well. They're surprised at how quick Goku's learning it. Like, he is a prodigy after all, but learning this high level of magic this quickly, it's incredible. Well, it isn't the first time he had to learn some sort of new kind of power. He did learn some spirit control in Yard Rat after all. And Goku's now expanding his skill set even more. Ki control, spirit control, and now magic control, I guess. About an hour passes, and then Goku exits the Room of Spirit and Time. That wasn't that bad, only about half a month in there. Goku teleports everyone back to the battlefield, and honestly, they don't know what they expected. They see Gohan sitting there on a rock, looking intensely at Buu, who's on the ground, unconscious. Shin and Kibito are just completely dumbfounded at this. They make Majin Buu look like a joke, not to mention he's powered up right now too, to a significant amount actually. And here Gohan is, watching him sleep. Goku even remembers hearing about something similar on Yard Rat, where he could possibly separate powers from people, but it seems that magic will be enough to do the trick too. That is what Buu has been utilizing after all to actually absorb people. So while Force Spirit Fission would be a good counter to this, magic would be even better because it's actually available here. He simply walks up to Buu, sticks his hands out, closes his eyes, and he's then surrounded by an intense energy. Not Ki, something else. And Gohan's taken aback by seeing this. Interesting, Goku has access to magic now. Buu is then split into two, Super Buu and Vegeta, both of whom are unconscious and then eventually wake up. Buu opens his eyes and the first thing he sees is Gohan's hand in front of his face, then proceeding to be immediately eradicated by him. Vegeta wakes up slowly, but this blast jerks him awake, actually kind of scaring him and catching him off guard. He looks around, then realizing he's on the outside again. He's safe. He apologizes to the two of them. He was too reckless. He was able to hold off Buu, but holding off Buu wasn't enough. He realizes the gap in power between them. He needs to get more to make sure it's enough to fight villains like that in the future. Goku and Gohan aren't upset at Vegeta for that. I mean, it's not like what he did with Majin Vegeta where he was incredibly reckless with that and directly put other people in danger because he was the danger. So they can't really hold it against him. He just wanted to help here and be involved. He had good intentions. But still, Vegeta says there was no excuse. He feels like nothing compared to them. But also, he knows the advantage they have here and the cost of it. Them getting trapped in the Room of Spirit and Time. That's their advantage. And obviously he learned that the hard way beforehand in the last two parts. It's a double-edged sword, and it's not something he could use to get ahead. But he doesn't want to just sit back either. Vegeta's of course fully a good guy now, but he's still very prideful. And his rivalry with Goku is way different than the main series. Goku's main rival is essentially Gohan here because they're the closest in terms of power. Vegeta is just so far behind that the rivalry is completely different, if it even is there anymore. Which is why Vegeta's resorted to training with Piccolo more if anything. But he still has a desire to catch up to Goku, possibly even go ahead of him. He just doesn't know how it's possible. But after the Buu saga, he begins thinking, well, Goku trained with those Kais and got some new magical abilities. And then it hits him. He has the perfect idea. Before the Kais leave, he goes up to them, and he asks them about something. Would they be willing to train him? And they're not too sure what to say to this. Well, it went pretty well with Goku, and they actually kind of had fun with it. It would help them protect against threats like that in the future, so it wouldn't be too bad to take Vegeta on as a student. But he also has another question too. Do they know anything about Beerus? And they're surprised to hear this. Vegeta knows about him? Well, yeah. Beerus terrorized their planet a while ago. Okay, not the best introduction for him, but Vegeta says eventually one day, he wants to try and seek out Beerus. He has a new goal now. He wants to train under gods. Goku did it before too, training under King Kai, and it worked pretty well back then. And whether it's the Kais or eventually Beerus, Vegeta now wants to train under somebody else. He doesn't know if Beerus would necessarily take him in, or where Beerus is. Apparently, according to the Kais, he's sleeping right now, so he's not even available. But either way, he's stoked to be training under the Kais. And they're happy to train him. He leaves the planet, and outside of Bulma and Trunks, nobody really actually knows about it. A few months later, eventually Goku hears it from Bulma, and he's surprised to hear about that. Well, it seems like Vegeta's doing his own thing to try and get ahead now, and Goku's happy. He wants to see where Vegeta will go. It could be really interesting for him to go down this new path. And of course, it only serves as more motivation for him and Gohan to train more. For all they know, Vegeta might be able to unlock something that they've never seen before. But they're on the same path as well. They're looking towards something completely different. Of course, Super Saiyan 3 is great, especially with them having perfected it and all, having no flaws anymore, and being able to use it at its max power, on command, for however long they want essentially. But they're still trying to think. There's gotta be something beyond it too, right? Like look back to what happened with Super Saiyan for them. They found multiple stages beyond grade 1 of Super Saiyan, eventually completely ascending it into Super Saiyan 2, and then Super Saiyan 3, which they didn't even intentionally want to try and get. So for all they know, there's stages beyond this too. Super Saiyan 3 might not be their limit. Right now, their current maximum is a perfected state of Super Saiyan 3 called Super Saiyan 3 Full Power, the same kind of Super Saiyan 3 that Cumber used in Dragon Ball Heroes. There's no limitations to it, except the form itself. That's the thing, they know there's gotta be something above it too. And they gotta break that limit in whatever way possible, especially if Vegeta's training for something else. They don't know if he's trying to get a new form or whatever, but at the very least, he'll probably learn more about magic, just like Goku did. And Goku's magical abilities are very limited right now. He essentially just learned how to separate people from Buu. Essentially a magic version of what he could have learned from Four Spirit Fission, but it's a very particular use case. Point being though, they have no idea what the extent of magic is, or if Vegeta's even learning that. Who knows what he's doing over there? Back on the Sacred World of Kais, Vegeta's been doing some other training. And he actually did train to learn some limited magic, but he's not too practiced with it yet. He has more experience than Goku with it, but still, he has a long way to go. Especially because a lot of his time training is spent trying to do strength training. Magic's great and all, but he's also trying to increase his power, and improve his fighting abilities too. This eventually leads him to trying to use the Z-Sword. At first, it's kinda tough, but with him having Super Saiyan 2, especially with how strong he is here, Vegeta's able to actually pull the Z-Sword relatively easily, at least compared to how tough it would have been for anyone normally. This alone surprises Shin and Kibito, and then Vegeta begins training with it. And it takes some time to get used to, but eventually he swings it around just like it's a normal sword. His power increases dramatically. It's already working, and he's elated. Until one day where he gets too powerful for the sword, and it ends up breaking, freeing Elder Kai. This has some pretty big implications as is, but it's even crazier once Vegeta realizes that he has some sort of ability that can unlock someone's latent potential. And the best part is, he has all the time in the world. Unlike Gohan in the main story when he was getting that ritual done, they're not restrained by some threat being on Earth. Vegeta could stay in the ritual for as long as he needs. So after they learn more about Elder Kai and discuss with him, eventually Vegeta learns about the ritual and has it done on himself. Elder Kai is still wondering why Vegeta wants this power. There's no threats to use it against, so why is Vegeta training so intensely? It's just to improve himself as much as he can. He wants to see what his limits are, if there are any. As a Saiyan, there shouldn't be limits. He wants to see what heights he could ascend to. And he gets his first taste of that after this. The ritual is complete, and now we see Ultimate Vegeta. He tries to transform, and instead of going Super Saiyan, he looks pretty much the same. He has a white aura surrounding him, but nothing about him changes physically, except his ki, which is amazingly intense. So much so that it can be sensed outside this realm too. The power of Ultimate Vegeta is sensed on Earth, as well as everywhere else. When he first powers up, he doesn't even know how to contain the power, but eventually gets the hang of it, and Vegeta immediately starts getting to work with this. Elder Kai asks Vegeta too, what's his ultimate goal one day? What is he going to use this power for? Shin then mentions that Vegeta said he wanted to meet Beerus soon, and Elder Kai's taken aback by this. He wants to meet Beerus? That was the guy who sealed him! This of course comes as a shock to everybody, but also at the same time, not really. Vegeta kinda knows how Beerus is after his first experience with him, seeing how he treated King Vegeta and all, and Shin thinks that's pretty in line with something he'd do. Although it's insane that he's only just learning about this now. But unbeknownst to everybody, Beerus might actually arrive sooner than normal. When Vegeta first powered up with Ultimate, it was sensed everywhere. Not just Earth, but in another realm too. On Beerus' planet, While he's sleeping, something disturbs this nap. It's nothing too impressive, but for the first time in a while, Beerus senses some sort of other energy. Nothing concerning him, but it's enough to disturb his sleep and eventually having him wake up. And it's strange too. He was having dreams of some sort of Super Saiyan god, and he wonders if it has any sort of correlation. And immediately he tries to seek out whoever this was. And luckily, Whis has some great info for him. Apparently on the Sacred World of Kais, a Saiyan is training there, and that seems to be where that key signature originated from. Interesting, a Saiyan on the Sacred World of Kais, and apparently it's Vegeta, the Prince of Planet Vegeta. This is all sounding really interesting to Beerus, so he heads there immediately, even though he's still a little bit tired. Not too long after the ritual was completed on Vegeta, during his training one day, two visitors show up on the Sacred World of Kais. Elder Kai's terrified, with Shin and Kibito being taken aback. They thought they sensed Beerus awakening, but he actually is awake. Beerus yawns, greeting everybody. He doesn't really need to introduce himself because everyone here actually knows him, so he's glad to save some time that way. He's interested to see that Elder Kai's been freed from the Z-Sword, and learns that Vegeta was responsible. Well, he's not mad because apparently this led to Vegeta becoming this strong, so he has an idea for how Vegeta could repay him and make this right. Fight him. And Vegeta's taken aback. Already? Beerus wants to fight him? He wanted to seek out Beerus, but he's not ready to fight him yet. Beerus was an end goal for him. Maybe someday he was going to try and find Beerus, and hopefully Beerus could teach him some sort of powers. He remembered how powerful Beerus was a while ago when he saw him, and thought it would be helpful to train with him one day, but he didn't think that day would come now, this soon. But he can't really protest against it, so he powers up to his maximum and begins fighting Beerus. And of course, it's nothing against Beerus. Beerus immediately realizes that Vegeta is not a Super Saiyan god, but Beerus does see the potential. I mean, that is what Ultimate is, it's his potential unleashed. So in the most literal sense, he actually sees Vegeta's potential. And even if he's not a Super Saiyan god yet, I mean, he's training under Kais. He has some godlike abilities, he has access to magic, he has this ultimate power. And on top of that, he's a Saiyan, he can grow really fast. It's all adding up for Beerus. The Super Saiyan god might be real, he just might not be here yet. I mean, Beerus did wake up earlier than normal. For all he knows, if he did sleep, Vegeta would have unlocked this form. And that's probably why Vegeta's not a Super Saiyan god yet. Vegeta has no idea how to respond to this. He's not a Super Saiyan god yet? He didn't even know that was a thing, but apparently he's gonna become one? Well, Beerus says it is some sort of prophecy that he dreamt of. He has no other explanation in mind. He assumes the Super Saiyan god will be real, and that Super Saiyan god is Vegeta. Beerus will just need to guide him towards that path, or at least Whis will need to guide him there. And he asks Vegeta, what does he think about that? Come to his planet, train with him instead of these Kais, become a Super Saiyan god. Shin and Kibito are a little bit pissed to hear this because they were training Vegeta. He was their student. But of course they really have no choice or say in the matter, and Vegeta doesn't really have a choice either. Also, this is what he wanted, even if it's arriving way earlier than he expected. So, he accepts Beerus' offer, and Beerus takes Vegeta under his wing, taking him back to his planet. Not only did Beerus awaken early, but he never went to Earth, and nobody there knows of what he's doing. Nor do they know where Vegeta is or what he's up to. But Goku and Gohan are still improving themselves, wondering how Vegeta's doing. One day, they'll be able to show Vegeta their new power as well, and possibly even something further beyond. Gohan's taking his training a lot more seriously, and it does make Goku feel kinda bad. Because of what happened before, Gohan can't really focus on his studies too much anymore, and most of his time is spent training, which is good, but at the same time, he knows it's not what Gohan wanted beforehand, and he could tell. Gohan still hasn't fully adjusted to this situation, and he wonders if Gohan ever will fully adjust. He's worried for his son, and wonders what will come out of this as a result. On Earth, by this point, Gohan is purely focused on training. Goku wonders why he isn't doing any of that scholar stuff anymore. And it's not that he doesn't want to do it, it's just that at this point, he kinda really can't. The Room of Spirit and Time stuff messes with his life so much that it's kind of impossible now. He didn't just lose all those years of his childhood, it's also all those years of his education. And yeah, he could be tutored and study outside of that, but still, how the hell is he supposed to catch up to that? In terms of book smarts, he fell behind. And it's not really his fault, but from him falling behind so much, and not even being able to go to a normal school anymore, it kinda holds him back from his dream. But he still has training, and he still does like it. It's not ideal, and he hopes still that someday he could become a scholar. Piccolo and Goku are concerned for Gohan. They've known this for a while, but now they're seeing it more and more. Gohan's dream of becoming a scholar has essentially been crushed, even though he's still trying to work towards it. He and Goku are doing better with the fact that they were trapped in that room for so long, but as I mentioned in the past few parts, Gohan has some long-lasting damage. We'll be seeing more of that going forward too. So while this is happening on Earth, what's happening with Vegeta? We go over to Beerus' planet where Vegeta is training now. More time has passed since the last part, and now Vegeta has finally unlocked Super Saiyan God. The training with Beerus and Whis was very helpful, and he was able to unlock God Ki and then channel it into a form somehow. But it seems that Beerus is actually more happy about this transformation than Vegeta is. Yeah, Vegeta likes it, and he's glad that he's finally surpassed Kakarot and Gohan. But for some reason, he feels unsatisfied. Beerus asks him what's wrong. He just got the power of a god. He became a deity just now. And look at the power of this form. The two end up fighting in it. And of course, Vegeta's power is no match for Beerus, but it's still impressive. And Beerus is still wondering why Vegeta doesn't seem pleased with it. What, is it because he lost the fight with Beerus? I mean, that's only natural. Of course he wasn't going to win just yet, but he's on the path to it. And Vegeta says it's not that. He can't really put his finger on it, but deep down, he kinda does know what it is. He feels that God Ki is a crutch for him. He resents the idea of it. Yeah, he's ahead of Goku and Gohan now, significantly actually. But the way he got ahead, he gained access to Godly Ki, and it was such a powerful jump that he didn't even expect it either. This new form of Ki that they don't even have any knowledge of. It's kinda unfair when he thinks about it. I mean, he's glad that he's stronger, and he's definitely ahead. He knows he's ahead, but he didn't realize how far ahead he'd get. Once again, there's a huge power gap between them, but this time it's in Vegeta's favor, and he feels the other side of it. Being this far ahead is so strange. It's not really that fulfilling, and he doesn't understand why. But the good thing is, Vegeta doesn't need to prove himself anymore. He knows he's ahead, and he's just going to keep training and cement the spot. Hopefully one day, Goku will find a way to catch up, and he knows that's going to happen. Goku's done so before. Even if you disregard those circumstances with the Room of Spirit and Time beforehand, he knows Goku will still find some way to grow stronger. Gohan as well. And he wonders what they're up to on Earth. Beerus wants to keep Vegeta here a little longer just to get more practice with his power, and then he could head back there. Goku and Gohan are training one day. They're stumped on how to get beyond Super Saiyan 3. They have the full power version of it. There's no ki leak and they could use it at 100% of the power at all times. They made it purely efficient too, just like Super Saiyan Grade 4. And the form is amazing. They're really glad to have it and it's very powerful. It's just, they've had it for so long, and they've never actually gone beyond it. Goku is working on something else though, but it's not something that Gohan could really try for himself. Goku has gone down a different route and started combining Kaioken with it. Of course, he's just in the beginning steps right now, but he feels that maybe, with that excellent control of the full power of Super Saiyan 3, he could probably utilize Kaioken at the same time, which would be a huge boost in power. But it's still a long ways off from being viable, and nothing prompts Goku or Gohan to think of Super Saiyan 4 either. They don't know it's possible, and they don't even think of the Grade 8 form. They're just continuing with this power, and the two decide to have an all-out battle. Maybe this will push them beyond their limits. They haven't had an all-out fight with anyone in so long, not even each other. But Goku thinks this will be a good idea. He remembers back in the Room of Spirit and Time, Gohan in there. His anger and a desire for power was how he unlocked Super Saiyan 2 in the first place. But there is kind of an issue with this battle. Collateral damage. They're worried about what it'll do to this planet. Of course they have ki control and all, but that can only go so far. So they can't really go all out and make this a death battle either. Not that they'd want to anyways because they don't want to kill each other. But in their eyes, this will still be a full power battle. The two begin fighting, with Piccolo watching on the sidelines. He wonders if this will actually work for either of them. He feels like they're on the cusp of something else. Well, at least Gohan is. He knows Gohan has more power buried deep within there. He's not too sure about Goku, but Goku will definitely find a way to get that power. As Piccolo's been training with them, he's noticed a few things. Goku always finds a new way to unlock some sort of power. He definitely will find a new level. And as for Gohan, he has those levels buried within him. He doesn't necessarily know how to draw out that power, which was the issue in the Cell Saga until he actually did find the way to do so. And Piccolo thinks this battle would at least be beneficial for Gohan. Maybe it will draw out that power. It'll force him to use something else. And for the first time in a while, Goku actually seems to be ahead of Gohan, at least in terms of pure strength. Of course, Kaioken combined with Super Saiyan 3 full power, wow, that is a mouthful. It is a little bit strenuous. Thankfully, Super Saiyan 3 full power on its own isn't too strenuous, but Kaioken, yeah, that is. But still, the power boost it gives him is more than enough to actually put him above Gohan. And he used this during the battle, as a way to push Gohan to using more power, seeing if that's possible. Gohan actually requested this too. He wanted to see Goku at his full power, nothing held back. He knows about Super Saiyan 3 Kaioken. Or I guess Super Kaioken 3 because they call it Super Kaioken? I don't know, whatever. The mouthful names are besides the point. Gohan wanted to see Goku's full power, and Goku obliges. He ends up beating Gohan, seemingly. Gohan gets back up, and Goku thinks he's calling the fight, but Gohan wants to still continue. He tells Goku to continue this fight until one of them is knocked out, and the fight does go on. Gohan gets knocked down again, and again. Goku's losing stamina, but he still is beating Gohan each time. But Gohan gets up again, and it's different than the other times. On Beerus' planet, Vegeta's continuing his training, fighting with Whis, and then something stops him. He senses a powerful spike in ki, far away. Whis wonders why Vegeta's distracted, and then Beerus and Whis both sense it too. It's not too impressive to them, but for Vegeta, it completely stuns him. That power. He knows whose ki that is. That's Gohan's. But the strength. He's never sensed anything like this. Well, if he's so interested, Whis will pull it up in his staff, which Vegeta didn't even know was possible, and then they see. Through Whis' staff, Vegeta sees Goku in Super Saiyan 3 with a red aura surrounding him, but there's also an ominous glow in front of Goku, and Goku looks completely stunned. The staff's view then moves over to someone else. It looks like Gohan, but at the same time, it doesn't. He has an aura unlike anything Vegeta's ever seen before. His hair, it's white, and it's much longer than before too, and his eyes, they're an intimidating red color. And as more confirmation that this is Gohan, he then drops out of the form, falling to the ground, dropping to his base form unconscious. What the hell was that? And how could Vegeta sense it all the way over here? Back on Earth, Goku and Piccolo are just as shocked. And Piccolo says that must have been the power that he knew that Gohan had locked away. And Goku still doesn't know what to say. That power? He had that much latent strength? Goku didn't realize that. But for that brief period, he felt the gap between them. It was so large. It made Super Saiyan 3 look like nothing in comparison. But he's happy at the same time. Gohan finally unlocked that power, something beyond Super Saiyan 3. But this fight also showed Goku something. That's not something that he could get. And Piccolo wonders why he's so hasty about it. Maybe that's another Super Saiyan form. But Goku says he doesn't think so. It looks so different, unlike anything he's seen before with Super Saiyan 3, 2, or even 1. And it's just like Piccolo said, this was Gohan's latent power. The energy felt so different than that of a Super Saiyan. Goku doesn't think this is something that he would have. He's just gonna have to go down a different path, while Gohan can pursue this form. And Goku gets an idea of where their training can lead them next. Gohan's gonna continue with this form, which, if it isn't clear right now, this is his beast form. Goku does want to continue with Super Kaioken 3, but at the same time he gets another idea. Another power that he could try working towards, one that he actually has some sort of practice with. He consults the Kais. He wants to try learning magic. Maybe with that, he'll be able to draw some sort of weird power out of him that he didn't know he had before. And he's gonna do this immediately. Gohan stays on Earth, training with Piccolo to work on this form more and more, while Goku then goes to the Sacred World of Kais. They're glad to have him here, and he then hears about Vegeta. Apparently he came here a while ago and now he's gone. Wait, what? This is where he went? Well, that explains why another Kai's here, because apparently he broke the Z-Sword and that dude came out of it. Not that Goku even knew what the Z-Sword was before. So they tell him about everything that went down. Interesting. So this guy unlocked Vegeta's potential, and then he went to fight some sort of god of destruction or whatever. Well, while Goku's training here, they actually offer to unlock his latent potential. Elder Kai could do that just as easily as he did with Vegeta. But Goku actually turns it down. He doesn't want to be handed that power, and he thinks that even if he does, he probably won't be at the level of Vegeta's power. He doesn't even know Vegeta's strength right now, he can't sense that god ki. But with how long he's been training, especially with someone like Beerus, it definitely seems like Vegeta's going to be far ahead. And Goku would love to train with Beerus, but it's not going to be that easy. Beerus isn't really going to accept Goku at the moment because, well, he's too preoccupied with Vegeta, and Goku's not too impressive in Beerus' eyes. Even if that ultimate ritual is great or whatever, it's not going to be anything in comparison to getting that godly ki, unless you got the two together or something. Instead, Goku's going to remain with the Kais, training with them. He wants to learn more about magic, just like before. This will lead him down a completely different path, while at the same time, he'll be training more with Super Kaioken 3. And he's optimistic. He will find something beyond Super Saiyan 3, an evolved version of this form. And while Beerus might not be impressed with Goku, there is someone else he keeps an eye on. After they all sense Gohan's power, Beerus is kind of intrigued, and Vegeta definitely wants to know more as well. Maybe Beerus was wrong about those other two Saiyans. Shin told Beerus that Goku didn't want to train with him, but Beerus turned it down. But until Vegeta told him, Beerus didn't even realize that Saiyan that wanted to train here is the father of that Saiyan they watched through Whis' staff. Although, they theorized the same thing that Goku did. Considering that Gohan's a hybrid Saiyan and has always had this insane potential, whatever power he unlocked probably isn't something that Goku's gonna get anytime soon. But Beerus still keeps this in mind, that Vegeta wants to see this power firsthand. Now that Vegeta's trained more with Super Saiyan God, and has actually done something else different with it, he tells Beerus this will be a great way to test its power. Take him to Earth, let him fight Gohan. And this surprises Beerus. Vegeta thinks that Gohan could match his strength? Well, Vegeta doesn't know for sure, but this might be a good opportunity to test their powers. Well, Beerus allows it, and it'll give him something fun to watch. So, Vegeta does go back to Earth, meeting up with Gohan again, and Gohan's surprised to see him, as well as these two other people with him. He has a lot of explaining to do. So, first, Gohan's caught up to speed. So, Vegeta's God now? He doesn't get it. And Vegeta shows off the form. A serene red aura flows around him as Vegeta transforms into his Super Saiyan God. But Vegeta says this isn't his full strength. He then transforms again, and he looks normal, now with a white aura around him. This is his ultimate form. This form draws out all his latent potential, which includes that power of a Super Saiyan God. So, just by using this form, he could access the power of that form as well, and then some. He wants to fight Gohan utilizing this power, and Gohan obliges. He definitely would love to test out his power too. Ever since Goku left, it's not like he's had an opportunity to fight someone all out again, especially with this new form that he's now getting control over. The two get ready to battle. Gohan powers up, going into his beast form. They're not going to hold back at first. They want to fight at full power right from the get-go. It'll be the only way to truly test their strength. The two power up to their maximum, then launching in towards each other. And at first, it seems like Vegeta's actually ahead. Beerus watches, pretty impressed. Well, Gohan's power is much stronger than they thought, especially for a mortal without any sort of godly ki. But as for Vegeta, his power is just as impressive too. He commends Vegeta on using Ultimate to draw out the power of a Super Saiyan God. He can't believe he didn't even realize that. The form does draw out all of Vegeta's potential after all, so he might as well use that instead of just transforming into whatever else he has. Since, by default, any other form Vegeta gains will make Ultimate stronger. Something that they're about to see happen again. As the battle continues, Gohan's power continues increasing as well, surprising Vegeta. And Gohan doesn't even know what to think of this. He can't sense Vegeta's power at all. Well, partially he can, but he can tell what he's sensing isn't Vegeta's full power. He's not sensing the godly ki. He mainly just feels the pressure of Vegeta's presence. The battle eventually ends with Vegeta winning, or so it seems. Much like the fight with Goku, Gohan gets back up again. He's still ready to fight, and he tells Vegeta this fight's gonna go till one of them's knocked out. And Vegeta's surprised to hear this, but continues fighting. And Gohan's grown stronger. He's being pushed to that brink again. Not that he's gonna unlock another new form, just that more power is being drawn out of him. His sheer determination and need for power is what's driving him here. And Gohan gets the upper hand. It seems like Vegeta's about to be beaten, but something strange happens with him as well. The aura of his ultimate form. It starts looking more like that of a Super Saiyan God again, and Vegeta feels power coursing throughout him. Both of them are incredibly stubborn, trying to win this fight with whatever power they can, and that draws something else out of Vegeta, that godly aura surrounding him. It then turns blue, with Vegeta's power exploding. There's a brilliant flash of blue light, with Vegeta surrounded by a fierce blue aura. For a brief moment, Gohan sees Vegeta with a new form. It looks like Super Saiyan, but with blue hair instead. All the power is then drawn into Vegeta, and once again, his hair turns black, with that ultimate aura returning. He doesn't know what just happened. Did he unlock a new form and just absorb it in his ultimate form as well? What the hell is going on? But whatever this power is, he's going to utilize it to win here. And just like that, he's able to finish the battle, defeating Gohan. That was an amazing test of strength, and it allowed Vegeta to ascend to a new realm of power. But still, to think, Gohan without any godly ki, he was able to match Vegeta. And Beerus is definitely intrigued by this. Once Gohan regains consciousness, Beerus has a proposal for him. Come to Beerus' planet, train with them. He can hone that power even further, and possibly unlock something beyond it. And Gohan accepts this. He feels like this is going to be a great opportunity, and it's not like he's doing anything else here on Earth. He could actually go there this time. And it'll be great for him and Vegeta. Vegeta's glad to have a rival. He resented the way he got ahead before, but he sees, even with this crush of God Ki, he still has someone to challenge him. Vegeta's content, but also amazed at Gohan's power. He wonders how strong he could truly get, especially with godly ki or something like that. All the while, Goku trains away, unaware of this battle. He did sense Gohan's ki flare up briefly on Earth, but assumed he was just training with Piccolo or something. He didn't sense Vegeta's power flare up. Goku still is on the Sacred World of Kais, training on his own, focused on breaking his limits with Super Saiyan 3, and learning more magic. And this training is showing him something, just like he thought. Super Saiyan 3 is not his peak. He'll find something new, something beyond either of them. Even if Vegeta's a god now, or Gohan has that beast form, Goku's still confident. Hell, look at what he did before. He perfected Super Saiyan. They found Super Saiyan 2 and 3 together. And now, Goku's gonna go even beyond that. This rivalry between the three of them is gonna continue, with each of them, especially Vegeta, more motivated than ever. And Goku's glad about this too. Before he left for the Sacred World of Kais, Gohan seemed much happier, much more content with the position he was in. This is good for him. It's good for the both of them, and Vegeta. Many years passed since the last part. There's a big time skip actually. With the Buu Saga happening earlier, and Battle of Gods happening earlier too, that leaves a big gap between that and whatever comes next. But in the meantime, what's going on with everybody? Well, with Vegeta being Vegeta, it's no surprise that he's purely focused on training, now utilizing Ultimate and powered by Super Saiyan Blue. Of course, Gohan's going to be doing the same thing too, and actually from time to time, he'll be training with Vegeta, especially once he's actually invited to Beerus' planet and starts training there. And over this time period, both of them see exponential growth, especially Gohan, who eventually unlocks Godly Ki, soaring far beyond his current power, the beast form with God Ki imbued within it. It's unfathomable. Vegeta can't even believe it. That gap between them, it gets closed, and then Gohan creates a new gap. Of course, Vegeta's growing strong as well. With all these years to train, he eventually unlocks Blue Evolution, which also contributes to his ultimate form, and he immediately integrates it within that. Thankfully, there's not too many threats during this time. Actually, pretty much nothing. The only thing that comes up is Frieza being revived. After all the years that passed, eventually he comes to Earth, and it's not too big of a deal actually. At first it's noticed that somebody ended up using the Dragon Balls, but no one knows who. And then they sense Frieza's power heading right towards Earth. And at first it seems pretty worrisome. Goku, Vegeta, and Gohan aren't there. It's just Piccolo, the humans, and then whoever else is there to help fight. They're able to hold off Frieza's army, but as soon as Frieza steps off the ship, somebody else teleports in. It's Gohan. They're all glad to see him here, and just as expected from everyone, Gohan's going to take this seriously and try to solve it before it actually becomes an issue. He looks at Frieza and simply points a finger at him. Frieza chuckles. This must be that monkey's child. He's all grown up now. But there's no way he's a match for the Yemp. He's cut off before he can even finish his speech. Gohan doesn't give Frieza a chance to power up, transform, or even speak. A beam hits Frieza right in his chest mid-speech, and he falls over to the ground dead. He doesn't know how strong Frieza is right now, or if he'd even be a challenge. But this is the type of thing he's training for. He takes the idea of protecting Earth very seriously now. And it makes Gohan feel much more at ease knowing that he's seeing results from this. The fact that he's able to one-shot Frieza. Well, the Frieza they fought back then isn't nearly as powerful as where Gohan is now. But who knows what new heights he ascended to. Gohan's just content that this was avoided. He briefly talks with everyone, and then immediately ends in transmissions back to Beerus' planet. And Piccolo sees more of Gohan's stoicism. It's not like him to act like this. The more time passes, the more Gohan is just not himself. Not that he's acting negatively, just that he seems bored, depressed maybe. Who knows? It's been going on for a while, and Piccolo sees that it's not really getting better. Or maybe it is. He doesn't know for sure. He hasn't seen Gohan in so long. Following the events of Resurrection F, if you can even call them events, we get to the Universe X tournament. The team here is pretty straightforward. Goku, Vegeta, Gohan, Piccolo, and as a way to further push Gohan and Vegeta, Monarch is there too. Although it's definitely not necessary. The two of them are so far beyond anyone else in Universe 6 that it's not even fair. Gohan is up first and he basically sweeps everyone. He doesn't even really need to transform until he fights Hit, and once he goes into his beast form, Hit stands no chance. And this kind of bumps Goku out. He actually had something that he really wanted to show off. And this would have been the perfect opportunity for that, but he didn't get a chance for that. He's just glad that Gohan's growing a lot stronger. And they've seen Goku from time to time, but this is the first chance they get to see him for a prolonged period of time. And after the tournament, he's brought to Beerus' planet. They really want to see what he's got in store, and Goku says he's been working on this for a while. And he thought once he achieved this would be the way to surpass his limits. But he sees now, he has more limits above that. He broke through one ceiling and just created another. This is only the beginning of what he's capable of. And Goku transforms. His hair grows out. It seems he's going into Super Saiyan 3. But something else weird happens. Well, at first it looks pretty normal. They see the aura of Kaioken surround him. But then, Goku's hair flashes, becoming brighter, darker, shinier, not looking like a normal Super Saiyan 3. And Goku's eyes shift into a piercing green color, much more vibrant than the normal eyes of a Super Saiyan 3. And he's bulked up considerably too. He finishes powering up and looks at the two of them. This is what he calls Super Saiyan 3 Limit Breaker, the culmination of his training with Super Saiyan 3, as well as the abilities granted to him by Kais, Shin, Kibito, and King Kai. It's every aspect of his power together, the trainings of the Turtle School, the trainings from Kami, a mastery of Super Saiyan 3, a mastery of Kaioken, and of course, his newfound abilities with magic. It's everything together, and then some. And most importantly, his eyebrows are back, which is the thing Goku's most excited about. Goku faces Vegeta in battle first, and Vegeta thinks this is possibly unfair. There's no way Goku's going to be on his level, and it's not him saying that out of pride or whatever, it's just, he has God Ki, and there's no way that Goku can actually reach that strength without that. Or at least, that's what he assumes. Amidst the battle, he sees that his judgment is completely wrong. Goku actually is incredibly strong, and Goku already does have trace amounts of godly ki, thanks to his past encounters with Vegeta over this time period, as well as the fact that he's literally a Kai essentially. He's essentially getting his own type of ki or something. That of a Saiyan, that of a Supreme Kai, that of a God. In terms of raw power, Vegeta still is above Goku, but Goku's able to close that gap. They're so close in strength that Goku's strategies actually allow him to close the gap. His new abilities as a Kai, the fact that Kaioken is ever improving, and no longer ripping his body apart but instead just continuing to multiply his power. And another really helpful tidbit, the fact that he could teleport mid-battle, something that I already knew before, but now has a better version of thanks to the Kai. As the battle concludes, Vegeta ends up winning, but only barely. He's impressed. Without true access to godly ki, Goku is able to do this, actually contend with him in a fight. And who knows, once Goku actually gets full access to God Ki, especially thanks to the trace amounts that he gained from this battle, he might ascend Vegeta in terms of raw strength. And Gohan's glad to see this too. He and Goku don't fight, they both know the outcome after all. And Goku tells Gohan he's not going to fight him again until he knows he can contend with his son. And Gohan smiles, accepting this. He hopes and kind of knows that day will come soon. But now, we head into the future, the timeline Trunks is from. And let's actually rewind a bit here, going to when Trunks finally returned home after the Cell Saga. Just out of curiosity, Trunks decides he wants to train in the Room of Spirit and Time. He was able to find it, and while the lookout was partially destroyed, he sees the time chamber actually is somewhat intact. And he's very concerned about it because if it actually does get destroyed, well, he's going to be trapped in there just like Goku and Gohan. which won't be good for anybody. But if he goes in and trains for a little bit and isn't too excessive with it, maybe he'll be okay. He's not going to be too risky with it, but he decides to train a little bit in there, more on top of what he did in the past timeline. He grows stronger than he ever was before, achieving Super Saiyan 2. But he's careful with it, knowing that it could break the time chamber. And he really did this out of curiosity. He didn't need to do it. Well, eventually he does need to fight Imperfect Cell, but even then, he wouldn't have needed the extra power anyways. This was kind of for himself, as reassurance really. This does have some nice effects later on though. Once we get to the Buu Saga, with Trunks being stronger from the get-go and still training with Shin and Kibito, this means he has an easier time fighting Deborah and Babidi. And that also means Shin and Kibito survive, giving Trunks even more training, meaning Trunks can pursue even further strength. Also getting the same powers he did originally, such as the ability to heal, and actually getting access to the Kai Kai now. And learning more about the abilities of Kais too. However, one day on the sacred world of Kais, an unforeseen visitor shows up. The three of them all sense this power, the malicious intent within it. A figure then teleports behind Shin, stabbing right through his back, with the blade going through his chest. Shin falls to the ground, and a blast is launched at Kibito, eradicating him. Trunks is enraged beyond belief and has no clue what's going on. He instantly transforms into Super Saiyan 2, rushing over with the Z sword. But the mysterious man blocks the attack, crushing the sword and destroying it, also inadvertently killing Elder Kai. The figure was moving so fast before that Trunks couldn't see him, but now he sees clearly, and he recognized that person's face. It's Gohan. Trunks has no idea what to do here. That can't actually be Gohan, right? And it doesn't look like his Gohan. He doesn't have that scar and he has both arms. But still, this makes no sense. Where did this Gohan come from? On a whim, Trunks teleports away with the Kai Kai, grabbing something on the sacred world of Kais before leaving. Not long after, Trunks arrives in the past. Not with a time machine, but he just appears. A portal appears over Capsule Corp and Trunks jumps through it. With him learning more about the Kais, he has knowledge of and access to the time rings. And this is what he used to travel to the past here. But he needs to work quick. Whoever this is might be able to follow him. He doesn't know for sure. Trunks' presence is known at Capsule Corp, and everyone comes over to the area. Trunks tries to explain quickly what's going on, but before he could finish explaining, Gohan Black himself appears. And they're all dumbfounded at the sight of this, especially Goku and Gohan. Vegeta, Gohan, and Goku all came back to Earth once Trunks arrived, because they knew something bad was definitely happening. But this? They have no clue what it is, and Goku notices something strange about it. He feels like he knows that key. Something about Gohan Black is familiar, and not the fact that he looks like Gohan. They easily ward off Gohan Black, who then ends up escaping because he realizes he's not strong enough to fight them just yet. And everyone's wondering who the hell Gohan Black is. Well, for a brief moment, some think that it might actually be Gohan. They don't say it flat out because Gohan is there right now, but it looks just like him, and what if somehow he got to that future timeline? All the anger, resentment, the negative emotions he built up from being trapped in the room of spirit and time. Did he turn evil and come back somehow? And while that could be possible, they're just not sure how that would have happened and why he would go to the future timeline even. But as they think about it more, Goku puts his finger on who that key belongs to. He knows who it is. But that also doesn't make sense. The key senses it's Zamasu's. They don't know who the hell Zamasu is, but Goku explains. Well, while he's been training with Shin and Kibito, he actually met some of the other Kais, and actually sparred with one of them, a Kai from Universe 10 named Zamasu. And he's heard some pretty interesting views from Zamasu that kind of align with this guy, wanting to destroy mortals or whatever, but Zamasu's grown past that. Goku tells everyone he'll be back. He teleports to the sacred world of Kais, and then goes to Universe 10 to try and see Zamasu. He tells Zamasu what he saw, and what he sensed, and Zamasu's kinda shocked to hear this. Well, he admits. At one point, he did consider some sort of Zero Mortals plan or whatever, but he's grown past that by now. The thing is here, Zamasu doesn't hate Goku. No one knew of Zamasu before except Goku, and Goku and Zamasu have actually become good training buddies. Gowasu is thankfully able to lead Zamasu away from those bad views he had before and kind of reform him, and surprisingly Zamasu's actually grown to like Goku here. This Zamasu actually has nothing planned. But if Goku did sense his key, what does that mean? As Goku stays here and begins talking with Zamasu even more, Trunks brings everyone else to the future. Trunks was in such a hurry to leave that he didn't even go and check Earth. Realizing his mistake, he immediately heads there, and thankfully, Future Bulma's okay and the place is still intact, although they arrived at just the right time. And immediately, they encounter Black once more. He was a bit injured from that fight beforehand, but he was able to escape in time. Although, now he's been healed. They don't know how he was healed, but he has been, which makes them a little bit suspicious about what's going on here. And Gohan Black shows off a new power that he obtained. Thanks to being healed and accessing his anger, he unlocks Super Saiyan Rose. And Gohan's confused. He's never had or seen this form before. And Gohan Black begins commenting on this. He knows Gohan has some sort of beast form or whatever, but it's so primitive. Even the name, Beast. Frankly, he's glad he didn't get that form. He doesn't know what this is, but he's not going to question it. This must be the form of a true deity. Those mortals like Trunks, messing with time, and those other mortals like Vegeta and Gohan, messing with godly powers. It disgusts him. And now, he's going to use that same power to destroy them all. The three of them jump into battle with Gohan Black, and he's actually pretty powerful with Rosette. They're able to deal significant damage to him, but he teleports away randomly, and then comes back with someone else who heals him. Is that a Supreme Kai or something? And at the same time as this shocking revelation, a couple more people then appear. Goku appears with 3 other Kais, Zamasu, Gowasu, and Shin. But this just makes them even more confused. If Gohan Black is Zamasu somehow, then why is there another Zamasu here? There's 3 now, the present Zamasu, the future Zamasu, and Gohan Black. And Gohan Black and future Zamasu are just as surprised. Another one? What, is he gonna join them or something? No, but he's with those other guys, he's with Goku. That doesn't make sense. Zamasu floats up to his future self. He's appalled at his actions. Future Zamasu's a bit shocked to hear this. He was already kind of on the fence, but why is this version of himself actually good still? Gohan Black doesn't question it. He continues fighting with the others. Goku stands by with Zamasu to make sure future Zamasu doesn't try anything, while Gohan Black faces Gohan, Trunks, and Vegeta. And they're surprised. Somehow he's able to keep up with Gohan's beast form, as well as Vegeta's ultimate. The strength within him, it's incredible. Especially after he just got healed twice and got Zenkai boost from it. He's beyond where he was before. And for the first time in a while, Gohan's facing an opponent that's actually besting him in terms of power. And the opponent, it's himself. And he knows it's not actually him, but seeing this evil version of him makes him think, could he end up being like this? Like, what if he's going down a bad path? He's known this for a while. Goku and Piccolo have told him about it, but they haven't flat out referred to it. Gohan was obviously radically changed by the Room of Spirit and Time, but they've seen that he's been bottling it up. And looking at this evil reflection of him, he sees the bitterness and depression, all those negative emotions he has locked away. He doesn't think he could end up like this, but what if it could bring him down this path? He doesn't ever want to end up like this, and he also wants to defeat this person. It's an imposter. It's not him. But the thing is, Gohan Black is just growing so powerful. He's turning the tide of the battle. They just need a little bit more strength to overcome him, but they can't. Goku would like to join the fight too, but he's worried to leave Zamasu alone. Vegeta's beaten by Gohan Black, and Trunks goes over to heal him. Gohan faces Gohan Black alone, but somehow his beast form is not enough. And Gohan Black actually enjoys this. He gets to fight Gohan one-on-one, beating him and feeling glee from it. And as Trunks heals Vegeta, he watches on. Gohan is hopeless to fight back. And while watching this, images of future Gohan flash through his head. He couldn't help Gohan there, and he can't help Gohan now. Both of them are gonna die because of his weakness. He can't go through that again. He has to do something. Something has to happen here. The rage he feels, the sadness, the anger, it's all overwhelming. Gohan Black looks down at Gohan in pity. He's bloodied and beaten, and Gohan doesn't know what to think of this. It's been so long since he faced someone stronger than him, and now he's gonna lose. It's someone utilizing his power. But a brilliant light illuminates the area. Gohan senses a familiar ki flare up, and he looks over. The ki comes from where Vegeta is, but he can't see anybody besides Vegeta. But he sees a streak of light fly across, connecting with Gohan Black and then knocking him far across the sky. Gohan floats back up, and standing next to him is Trunks. Gohan's eyes widen. There's no way. Trunks is standing there, looking very similar to Gohan. That same white hair, those red eyes, the same aura. He's been pushed to the edge, and now we see Beast Trunks. But the fight isn't over yet, not nearly. Even with this power up from Trunks, Gohan Black still sees a way out. Trunks looks over at Gohan, holding a fist in front of him, smirking. He can't believe it, the overflowing power he feels. It's incredible, and he tells Gohan, don't falter now. Gohan nods in agreement, also smiling as he powers up. He stands alongside Trunks, saying let's do this. And the two of them rush in towards Gohan Black together, and now he can't defend. He lifts up each arm, defending against a punch from each of them, but he feels the pain ringing through it. His arms are nearly broken from this. Damn it, he got that same primitive form that Gohan has. He's not sure if he could win here. Even with his great power, theirs just seems to be way too much, but he still has a trump card in case he needs it. Although, he's not going to use it just yet. For now, he continues the fight, trying his best to fight against them. The combined power of Beast Gohan and Beast Trunks is way too much. But Gohan Black won't give up that easily. If anything, this might fuel him. If he tries to fight even more like this, who knows? He'll get stronger from the injuries, stronger from the rage. Maybe he'll unlock a similar power, one derived from his own rage. Of course, a more refined version of that though. Not the same animalistic beast form. Something more befitting of a god. But it doesn't seem like that's going to happen. He is growing stronger amidst the battle, but so are Gohan and Trunks. The gap between them grows wider and wider. As Gohan Black takes more and more damage, he can't fight against them. He has to do something. He needs to be healed. Maybe he can go over to Zamasu, he could do that. But that won't work either. Zamasu's preoccupied with the other Zamasu and Goku. Partially from them fighting, but also from them talking. What's going on? Why is he talking with that mortal? What are they discussing? He must be trying to turn that Zamasu over to their side probably. That has to be the case. But meanwhile, it's actually the opposite. Future Zamasu is actually hearing his past self out. He was kind of reluctant doing this in the first place. I mean, he didn't really have a choice. Gohan Black came here, killed Gowasu, and recruited him into the Zero Mortals plan. Yeah, Zamasu's been thinking about it, but reflecting on that, he didn't really have a choice. It happened on a whim, so he kind of had to go with it. Either that or rebel against Gohan Black, which didn't make sense to him at the time, and it wouldn't have even worked. He would have just died there too. But it all happened so quickly, he didn't even really have a chance to make a choice. He was already kind of on the fence about it, and now, present Zamasu's putting him back on that same fence. Future Zamasu's conflicted. It's already too late, isn't it? But Gowasu talks to him too. No, it's not. He can right those wrongs. He is a Supreme Kai here still. As a deity of creation, he could still create a new universe from the ashes of this one, and the other ones in this timeline as well. There are ways to help restore the damage, but Zamasu still doesn't really know. He's too far gone at this point, and he doesn't think he can go back. But Zamasu from the present timeline looks at him. He knows Zamasu better than anyone. He literally is Zamasu, just from a different timeline. He almost fell into the same trap, but was saved from it, and who's to say that future Zamasu can't be saved as well? Plus, he's immortal. Who cares if he's standing up against Gohan Black? Gohan Black can't do anything about it. He can't kill Zamasu. They'll fight him together. All Zamasu needs to do here is join them. Gohan Black teleports over, asking Zamasu to heal him right now. He looks over at present Zamasu and Goku, launching a blast at them. Goku powers up, jumping in front of the blast, easily defending against it, and defending Zamasu in the process. But he lunges through the attack and starts attacking Gohan Black himself. As Trunks and Gohan fly over too with Vegeta, Gohan Black yells at him, "They don't have enough time, come on, heal him right now!" But Zamasu hesitates, and then he says he's not going to do it. He'll fix his actions here, and he can start that by not helping Gohan Black here. He'll let him die from his injuries. He's a poor excuse for a god, and Gohan Black calls him crazy. They made it this far, why stop now? And he was involved in it too. But Zamasu tells Gohan Black he didn't have much of a choice either. Gohan Black might have not done it on a whim, but Zamasu here, he did that unexpectedly. It's not a Kai's job to destroy everything. Gohan Black calls him a pathetic traitor, siding with the mortals. Out of anger, he slices Zamasu in half, launching a massive blast at him, disintegrating him. Zamasu of course regenerates from this, telling Gohan Black it's no use. Yeah, attack him, waste his energy. He'll just regenerate from it. Thankfully, he's not the one who became immortal. Gohan Black is fuming. He knew it wouldn't kill Zamasu, but he just wanted to take his anger out on him somehow. But he still does have one choice. Alright, well, if Zamasu doesn't want to heal him, there is still one way he could utilize Zamasu's power for himself. He doesn't say anything. Just quickly, he grabs his earring, switching onto the other ear. Zamasu's taken aback by this. Crap, he forgot. Quickly, he tries to grab his other earring, but it's already too late. The fusion process has begun. Present Zamasu runs up to it, reaching out at his future self, trying to grab him, but it doesn't work. He's pulled in towards Gohan Black, as he shouts, cursing everything, while Gohan Black laughs maniacally. Forcing this fusion is a perfect idea right here. Present Zamasu slams a fist into the ground. Damn it, they were so close. It was all because of that stupid earring. They could have won here. And Gowasu wonders what's going to come as a result of this. An immortal Kai, fusing with Gohan Black. Will that make him fully immortal too? And not to mention, the fusion's going to be permanent, right? Because it's two Kais. They might have just entered the worst case scenario. Gohan and Trunks stand back, watching as the fusion occurs. They can't do much against it, and they're confused as to what's even going on here. Zamasu and Shin try to heal them too, at least while they have the time. Vegeta says he heard about this from Elder Kai, and Goku says he has too. It's Potara fusion, and as the fusion completes, Merge Zamasu is standing there. But it's a conflicted Zamasu, a very agitated one. Gohan Black's side is there, manifesting itself. But there's also the Zamasu side, making him a little more reluctant. This Zamasu, he has a major internal conflict, and he doesn't immediately act, which gives everyone an opportunity to try and think. Goku actually has a great idea. He looks over at Shin, Gowasu, and Zamasu. They all have earrings too. He asks for them to give him a pair. And he's heard about this from Elder Kai, but asks Gowasu for confirmation. Is this fusion also permanent for mortals? And Gowasu says it actually isn't. That's only for Kais. For mortals, it has a time limit. Okay, well, that's better than he thought actually. So this plan may be even better. Goku's plan is as follows. He's gonna need a fusion to help him somewhere. The best idea would be to fuse Gohan and Trunks. While that happens, Goku's gonna use a technique that he learned on Yardrat. He hasn't just been training with the Kais all this time. He went back to Yardrat too, trying to learn something that he didn't really have too much time to learn. That's Force Spirit Fission. Even for a permanent fusion like this, he might actually be able to defuse Zamasu and Gohan Black. But he'll need Gohan and Trunks' power on his side. Originally he was just going to have them fuse and then defuse them with Force Spirit Fission as well. But if they're going to defuse on their own, that's even better. He's not too sure if it'll work, but it's the best idea he has in mind. The sky glows an ominous orange and red color, as Zamasu charges an attack, launching down spears of ki to the surface below. They have no time to react. Shin takes off his earrings, passing it to Gohan and Trunks. Quickly they try and fumble and put the earrings on, as all the spears from above hit the ground. Merge Zamasu looks on, with a stone-cold face, showing no emotion, but slowly, the Gohan Black side of him is taking over, influencing his decisions. But still, He's still feeling a bit of apprehension, hence his lack of emotion here, and as the smoke clears, he looks on and sees everybody's still standing there, except Gohan and Trunks are missing. He saw a bright flash of light appear right when they were about to hit, but it seems like the spears actually did nothing, and suddenly, a massive beam comes from below. A heat dome attack, one of Trunks' moves. It hits Merge Zamasu head on, disintegrating part of him, but he just regenerates. Although, it's strange. It's not the same regeneration that Zamasu had. He regenerates, but half of him turns purple, like it's destroyed somehow. From one attack. He's been made to look so ugly, so unsightly. This infuriates him, at least from the Gohan Black influence in his mind. Barely being held alive by the Zamasu side of him. Who could have done that? No one could be that strong, especially against a fusion like this. And slowly, a fighter rises up. He has that same white hair and red eyes, just like Gohan and Trunks had. And he looks like Gohan. Or, no, he looks like Trunks. But then Zamasu sees. He has earrings on. And he knows exactly who this is. The fusion introduces himself. This is Gohanks. A fusion of future Trunks and present Gohan. And naturally, he's in his beast form. Before Zamasu can even say anything, Gohanks begins attacking. He's aware that he probably won't be able to kill Zamasu. He's just buying time here, which is a good thing. They could defuse Zamasu out of that fusion, and hopefully he could help restore this universe and possibly face whatever punishment comes to him. And it seems their attacks are working. The fact that one side of him isn't regenerating, that might mean the Gohan Black side of him is dying. But that still doesn't mean he's fully dying. Otherwise, this Zamasu wouldn't be attacking them right now. So he must be in there, influencing the fusion still. Fused Zamasu's infuriated, and Gohanks continues attacking, trying to leave an opening for Goku. And Goku tries to come in, attacking whenever he can. But every time he tries to, Zamasu is able to dodge quickly enough, even knocking Goku out of the way. Super Saiyan 3 Limit Breaker is very powerful for him, and he's strong to begin with, but he can't match either fusion right now, as expected. But he thought he could at least hit Zamasu. He can't though, and he's gonna need to do that to actually use Force Spirit Vision. Zamasu starts fighting a lot more aggressively, meaning he's fighting faster as well. Of course, Beast Gohanks is able to keep up, holding Zamasu off while doing so, but they're moving so quickly that Goku can't come in and attack. He tries to Kai an instant transmission around, but nothing works. By the time he does teleport over to wherever Zamasu is, he's already gone, moving too quick for Goku to try and register. Damn it, he needs to be a little bit faster. He communicates telepathically with Gohanks, telling him to try and keep Zamasu in one spot, but Gohanks says that isn't going to work. He's been trying to do so, and he can tell that Zamasu's taking even more damage the more he fights. But there's an issue. They don't know how long the fusion's going to last, especially with how powerful the beast form is, and with Gowasu saying the fusion's temporary, they're unsure if the fusion might run out faster now, especially considering the Trunks side of the fusion doesn't really know how to utilize the power to its fullest yet. They need to think of something quick. But Goku has another great idea. He flies back down to the surface, with Vegeta watching. He tells Vegeta he needs to help out here. Goku's got another plan, and Vegeta has no clue of what he has in mind. Gohan continues fighting, effortlessly holding off Zamasu, but he's still worried. He needs this fusion to last longer, just so Goku can get a hit in, and try and use Force Spirit Vision. Gohanks charges up a powerful Masenko, and it completely destroys Zamasu's body. Wait, did that work? Did they kill the fusion? He's not regenerating from it, so they're not sure. It's a shame Zamasu died, especially right after he turned back to the good side. Well, seemingly. But still, it's good that they got rid of the fusion. Although, that's not actually the case. A large beam comes from the sky above. Zamasu's physical body has been destroyed, but Merge Zamasu has become one with the universe now. He's still immortal, and they can't even attack now. But then a copy of Merge Zamasu descends from above. It tells Gohanks, it's hopeless now. He's become one with the universe. They're gonna have to destroy it if they want to destroy him, if that's even possible. Slowly, he begins consuming everything. But Gohanks senses a powerful ki nearby, and as Zamasu floats there, somebody then launches in towards him. He tries to move out of the way, but this other fighter, he's quick enough to parry against it, landing a hit on Zamasu. Gohanks looks on amazed, and he sees exactly what happened. This fighter, it's a fusion of Goku and Vegeta. The fusion looks over at Gohanks. They had some extra Batara earrings after all. It's good that they had all those Kais there with them. He just needed a little bit extra speed, and fusing with Vegeta gave him that exact power that he needed. Not to mention, the power of a fusion in general. He feels so much stronger. This is Vegito. Actually, he's utilizing his full power right now. With Vegeta's side being part of it, he has the ultimate form. And this is Ultimate Vegito, I guess. Displaying all the power from each of his fusees. And he finally did it. He landed a hit on Zamasu. He continues attacking, and Zamasu isn't really damaged by it, but he notices something strange. He feels weaker, and this is exactly what they needed. Vegito could finally utilize Force Spirit Vision, but it might be too late. Seeing that Zamasu's merging with the universe, he's not too sure if this is going to work, but with the great power of Vegito and Force Spirit Vision on his side, it might end up working. More beams fall from the sky above, as Zamasu continues barraging the planet with Ki Blast. Gohanks and Vegito are able to defend against it, but amidst the fight, Gohanks ends up defusing. Crap, just like he thought. They were using too much power. But still, Gohan and Trunks on their own, they can help defend against this, using their beast forms still. And as Vegito continues attacking, thankfully being able to hit Zamasu's physical body, or at least the copy of it, he takes more and more power out, and starts the process of defusing him. It takes a lot of focus, and he asks Gohan and Trunks to help. They defend Vegito against all attacks, as he utilizes Force Spirit Fission, and this could be risky. I mean, he's literally ripping Zamasu out of the universe. But they notice something. One of the clones of Zamasu that's nearby, he begins morphing. The purple side of him, his power decreases dramatically, and the faces of Zamasu in the sky, they all disappear. Vegito screams, with an incredible burst of power. The Force Spirit Fission is successful. He's able to rip Zamasu away from the universe. And also, that Zamasu that was there regenerating. He looks like merged Zamasu, but his power and his ki, they're completely different. They feel like normal Zamasu. Well, maybe a little bit stronger. Vegito was able to rip the Gohan Black out of him, and he was already basically dead. It seems he accomplished what he needed. Zamasu looks like he's still fused, but it definitely is Zamasu. He feels a stark difference. His body must have just taken this form still, regenerating into whatever this is. But the Gohan Black side of him, it's gone. And the universe, it seems normal, relative to where it was a few moments ago. And Zamasu descends down to the ground, getting used to this new physical form of his. He thanks everybody, and says he doesn't expect forgiveness, but he's glad that they helped him see the light. And you know what? Maybe it's good. He feels a little bit stronger, retaining some of the power of fused Zamasu. And this could be good. He could utilize this power, create a better universe from the ashes of this one. Not by destroying it, but rebuilding it from where it was. He'll atone for his mistakes by fixing them, and this universe will prosper. He'll definitely see to it. And he looks at Trunks. Trunks doesn't necessarily know how to feel about it. And honestly, they don't even know if they can necessarily trust Zamasu. But Zamasu looks at his past self. Glad that he saw this too. He knew his past self was still on a good track, but he tells him to look at what's happened here. Look what happens when you go down a bad path like that. And it definitely resonates with present Zamasu. Now begins a lengthy process of restoring this timeline, as everyone from the present timeline heads back, with Trunks thanking them all. Although, something is strange now. After they head back, Vegito of course defuses. And Goku feels something strange about him, and Vegeta notes it too. He can sense divine ki within Goku. Maybe from fusing, he was able to inherit some of it at least. And Goku's thrilled. This is definitely going to send him down a great new path. But this also leaves Trunks and Gohan with a lot to think about too. When fused, they saw each other's memories. Trunks got to see Gohan struggle firsthand, or at least remember it. And as for Gohan, he saw through Trunks' memories, seeing his future self. And he got to see this future version of himself. Even in the face of adversity and all the terrible events in his life, he was still optimistic to the very end. And even with everything not going his way, he still wanted to pursue his dreams of being a scholar, living a peaceful life, protecting everyone around him. And it leaves Gohan with more optimism than he came in with. He could be like that, his future self. Even with all the bad stuff he's been through, he's still alive. He has that peace to work with. And maybe this is a new beginning for Gohan, seeing that terrible future timeline, getting to understand exactly what Trunks went through, as well as his future self. And he makes a vow. He can't keep living in the pessimistic way that he has been for so long now. He has a newfound sense of optimism, a newfound sense of hope. After being gone for so long, Gohan might finally be coming back. Goku begins training with Beerus finally. He's glad to actually be noticed by him at this point. That's what he was working towards this whole time. He's been so strong for so long, and now Beerus finally sees that. It doesn't take long for him to awaken Super Saiyan God. And he tries to use it with other forms as well. Apparently, Vegeta was able to use it with his regular Super Saiyan form, making Super Saiyan Blue. But he ended up not needing to do that anymore. His ultimate form just drew out all his latent power. And Vegeta tells Goku he should just have that done on him. But Goku doesn't really like the idea of that. He'd rather train for the power himself. But Vegeta tells him he doesn't really have a choice. Goku has no clue what Vegeta means by that, but he explains. He unlocked Godly Ki from Fusion, right? Remember that. Yeah, Goku's following along. Vegeta said that he also would have unlocked something else, Ultimate. If he obtained one thing from the fusion, he'd probably obtain another too. Vegito also did use the Ultimate form while they were fused, which means his potential was possibly drawn out by Vegito inadvertently. Vegeta tries coaching Goku into how to transform into it, wondering if this actually occurred. And sure enough, Goku's able to power up into Ultimate. Well, looks like he doesn't have a choice. He now has the Ultimate form, able to draw out his latent potential at will. Kind of a bummer though. He was thinking that maybe he can combine Super Saiyan God with Super Saiyan 3 or something. And Vegeta says, yeah, this is definitely a more straightforward way to grow stronger. But that probably would be cool to see. The two train on Beerus' planet, and at some point, Zeno decides he wants to clean out some of the universes. The Tournament of Power is set into motion. Now Universe 7 is tasked with recruiting 10 fighters for their team, with Piccolo and Gohan being pretty clear picks too. They could find some more fighters, but Goku actually has a really good idea. Why not include Trunks? Vegeta calls him an idiot for even suggesting this. Look what happened last time people messed with timelines. Do they really want more of that Zamasu nonsense? But Goku says it should be okay, at least from what he's learned with his time with the Kais. Besides the fact that he has the ability to go between timelines like this, there's also something else to consider. Those timelines are already created. He won't be making new ones by traveling there, he's just going to ones that are already existing. It shouldn't be too big of a deal. And before Vegeta could even stop him, Goku gets the time ring, going to the future. Vegeta completely forgot about Goku being a Supreme Kai student. That makes him wonder, would Goku get that pink-haired form too? And as Goku travels to the future, he wonders the same as well. That would be cool, but probably not because he's Beerus' student now, no longer an apprentice Kai. Pink hair with Super Saiyan 3 could be fun. He arrives in the future, finding Trunks pretty easily. It seems things are going well. Earth is actually restored, looking a lot more normal. Obviously not everybody's revived, but the planet's being rebuilt. Trunks is glad to see Goku, but also surprised why he's here. And somebody else then teleports in. Zamasu sends Goku arriving, so he came here trying to see what's going down. With Goku apologizing, telling Zamasu to not be mad. But he doesn't really care anymore. Besides Goku basically being the same type of deity as him and traveling between timelines, Zamasu reminds Goku that he's already changed his focus. But he is interested to see that Goku's here. Is he just coming to check up on them? But no, Goku actually says it's something else. He explains what's happening, and Zamasu's actually a bit concerned by this. Was he the one to cause this? He wonders if he's to blame. Goku says it's not the case, but Zamasu can't help but feel guilty. Maybe he is involved. Maybe the Zeno of that timeline somehow found out. And at the same time, he also did promise he worked to preserve life now. Goku recruits Trunks for the team, but Zamasu asks him, let him join the tournament too. Goku's not really too sure about it. Yeah, it would be great to have Zamasu on the team, he's incredibly powerful, but he's not sure if that'll even work. He's from Universe 10, but Zamasu says technically not their Universe 10. I mean, Trunks isn't from their Universe 7 either, so really he shouldn't be on the team. But if they allow him, they could probably allow Zamasu. But it's also because he hears about the Super Dragon Balls being the prize. He could use them to restore everything, their timeline too. So he has a few motives to join and actually win here. And Goku's a bit unsure. Zamasu getting the Super Dragon Balls? I mean, it seems like he's turned over a new leaf, but he doesn't really know what to think. But he can't really turn it down. I mean, they're also worried about what Zeno will say. Goku says he'd be right back. He used the time ring to go to the present and rudely intrudes on Zeno's palace. But Zeno actually allows it. Goku's a fun guy. And he asks, he did want to recruit somebody, but he's from another timeline. Is that okay? And Zeno says, yeah, that sounds awesome. Cool. He thanks Zeno for the go-ahead. Oh, also, another guy that he wants to recruit, he's from a different timeline and a different universe. And Zeno is kind of questioning this a bit, which makes Goku terrified, but Zeno thinks over it for a bit and is like, well, as long as he's powerful, yeah, it's cool. Sounds pretty exciting. Cool. Goku tells Trunks and Zamasu that they got the green light, and they come to the present timeline. Trunks is glad to see everyone again, and he even sees his past self now grown up more, and he tells Goku he should recruit present Trunks too. It says they should recruit Goten too. Goku's surprised that he knows about Goten, but Trunks says remember, he fused with Gohan. He briefly was able to see Gohan's thoughts and memories, so he knows that Goten and his past self could be a valuable addition to the team. Goten has actually been training a bit, wanting to catch up with his father and brother. He didn't inherit that great power that they had because they got it from the Rubin Spirit in time, not from having great genes or whatever. With him being way more motivated, he's actually ahead of present Trunks here, keeping that rivalry going, but being the one that's ahead. He even has Super Saiyan 3 by now. And when he hears about being able to join the tournament, he shows this off to Goku, saying that this could be really helpful. Goku's elated to see this, amazed. It's just like him. He didn't realize that Goten had this form, and Goten can't control it nearly as well as Goku was able to, but Goku's still impressed, and apparently Trunks has Super Saiyan 2. They're still pretty inexperienced as fighters, but yeah, sure, they could be a good addition to the team. Now they just need 2 more fighters, so Goku recruits his best friend Krillin, and he's able to get Tenshinhan to join the team. So they got a pretty good lineup. Goku, Gohan, Vegeta, Trunks, Goten, Piccolo, Krillin, Tenshinhan, and few Zamasu. They're all very concerned about Zamasu being on the team, mainly because he might be a liability still, and also because they don't know how the other universes will react seeing him on there. 2 Trunkses is one thing, but a guy from another universe from another timeline? But Goku assures them it's okay. He thinks. They arrive at the tournament, and as you could expect, it's probably not going to be too tough for them. Zamasu is actually the most proactive for the group. He could act as a meat shield for everybody and try to eliminate as many people as possible. I mean, nothing will hurt him because he can just regenerate from it. But his presence is very confusing to all the other Kais there, and everyone from Universe 10. The other Kais all turn to Zamasu, the present one, and he tells them it's kind of a long story to explain. The Kais say they kind of want to know because they're all about to die anyways. But Zamasu assures them it could wait for later. He knows that his future self is more like him now, and if that's anything to go by, he'll probably make the right choice if he wins the wish. Zamasu is not worried at all about being erased. He knows he's going to be erased, but he'll be brought back. Gowasu says they should have just recruited him, but either way, it's still fine. Some of the other guys think this is unfair though, but Zeno tells him to shut up. He finds it fun. That Zamasu guy's really cool. Besides just Zamasu, you gotta consider who else is on the team. Mainly Goku, Gohan, Vegeta, and Trunks. Their power is incredible at the moment. Yeah, Goku might have not combined Blue or Rose with Super Saiyan 3 or whatever, but his ultimate form, it's still just as amazing. Vegeta's also still using his ultimate form. Gohan and Trunks, they have their beast forms obviously. At first, it's pretty simple and straightforward. More and more universes are picked off, and eventually they do have to face one of the strongest people there, which is Jiren. The rest of the gods, at least the remaining ones, they're kind of pissed off at Universe 7 for their unfair advantage. But technically, they could have done the same. It's just that they didn't have a future timeline version of themselves and another god from another timeline that they could have recruited. Universe 7 just had the right connections. Jiren might end up being an issue, at least at first. Once you have an entire group fighting against him, especially with the amount of people in the group and the power of each of them, defeating him isn't exactly too tough. Unfortunately, this means Goku doesn't end up getting Ultra Instinct, but he doesn't end up needing it. Not just yet, at least. There's also the fact that Goku hasn't really been training with Beerus or Whis for a while. He's had way less time training underneath Whis. So, even if there was a catalyst for him to unlock Ultra Instinct, it probably would not happen right just now, and if so, it'd definitely be fleeting. But he doesn't need it here. Most of the weight is honestly pulled by Zamasu, Gohan, and Trunks. Gohan even tells Trunks, it would be cool if they fused again. It would make this fight a lot easier, but Trunks says there's no need. Their innate strength is more than enough to help here. Zamasu actually ends up sitting back as support, telling them he'll join if needed, but he lets the two of them go at it. Jiren goes into his full power, while Gohan and Trunks show off their full power. They have a ton of fun fighting together, and honestly, Gohan kind of admires Jiren. Apparently Jiren's a superhero from his universe. And for some reason that really resonates with Gohan. A superhero. Sounds cool. He can't exactly put his finger on why just yet, but the Pride Troopers seem pretty cool. Jiren's definitely different from the others that they fought though, not only in terms of strength, but in terms of mentality. He reiterates what some of the other Pride Troopers were telling Universe 7. Their actions here are unjust, going to another timeline to recruit someone. And not just that, but recruiting somebody from a different universe in that timeline. Even if Zeno allowed it, it's still a sneaky thing to do. And it shows Jiren. Their universe is weak. They need to rely on power from another timeline and another universe to win here. But Gohan tells Jiren, that's far from the truth. They definitely could have recruited some other people for their team. They didn't do this out of necessity. It wasn't their last resort. Besides the fact that they knew Trunks was strong, Trunks was recruited because he understood their plight. He knew what it was like to face certain death. And those guys from the present, they helped him. With hope for a better future, they're able to save that timeline. And now it's being restored, becoming much better than it was beforehand. And that Kai over there, he's the one helping. Their connected hope pushes them forward, and their goal here is not to win just for Universe 7 survival, but for everybody's survival. Unanimously, this team has agreed on one wish. If they achieve the Super Dragon Balls, they're bringing everyone else back. And from what they're hearing for Jiren, it doesn't seem like he has the same thing in mind. He has a more selfish wish in mind. It's not like he could win this fight either. The two of them are able to overpower Jiren, backing him into a corner, and eventually, being able to knock him off the ring. But they thank him for the battle. It was fun seeing this, and even though he's not acting like a traditional superhero, Gohan reminds Jiren. He respects him for what he does as a superhero. And the rest of the Pride Troopers too. It's admirable. And he wonders, maybe he could become a superhero like them for his universe. For MVP, Zamasu is chosen. He's gotten the most eliminations and has been one of the most helpful people here, being able to heal other fighters during the battle as well. They aren't really sure about this still, but Goku could tell. Zamasu's heart is pure. He could see into Zamasu's mind and his intentions. Vegeta tells Goku that's kind of creepy, but Goku said the Kais do it, and it's kind of fun for Goku to use too. That worries Vegeta. He hopes Goku's not randomly reading his thoughts or whatever, but Goku tells him not to worry about that. The point is, he could see into Zamasu's mind. He knows his intentions are pure here. At first, he didn't really know, but once they brought Zamasu back here, he decided to try and utilize this, seeing what he could learn about that future Zamasu. And it's funny, even during the tournament, he communicated telepathically with the other Zamasu in the stands, the present one. He saw the exact same thing. This Zamasu, he's changed, just like he said he would. But he ends up making a wish that's completely different from what they expected. He tells Super Shenron, restore the Super Dragon Balls in the future. Wait, what? Zeno's even confused by this. Sounds like kind of a selfish wish. But Zamasu tells everyone, this wish, it's the most ideal one he could make. He could save 2 timelines at once by doing so. With Super Shenron restored in the future, he'll be able to use those Super Dragon Balls and restore all the universes here. And then, after another year has passed, he could use it again in the future timeline to fully restore that timeline. And they kind of see his thought process here. Zeno's not really too sure if he likes this, and threatens to erase Zamasu and his universe. But the Grand Priest could see his intentions, and he seems to be very truthful about this. Everyone's momentarily terrified, but Zeno lets it slide. He guesses it's not too selfish, but then he glares at Zamasu. He'll give it a day. If he doesn't see those other universes restored, he'll erase everything. Not just this timeline, but that timeline too. With Zeno menacingly staring him down, it's the last thing Zamasu sees before they head back to Earth. Nervously, he tells everybody thank you, that was fun, and he immediately leaves, telling Trunks to come with him. They gotta make haste. Trunks looks around confused and he waves too. Goodbye. But wait, before Zamasu leaves, Goku asks, why not just use the time ring and get the Super Dragon Ball somewhere else? But Zamasu says he no longer wants to rely on that. Using it to help existing timelines is one thing, but he doesn't want to create more timelines traveling forward or back, or doing that in his own timeline either. Messing with timelines is what brought them here, and he doesn't want to do that anymore. Going between 2 timelines that are still flowing normally, okay. he can allow that. But if they keep messing with time, traveling forward and backward, creating new timelines, who knows what can come as a result of it. He ends up leaving, and sure enough, not too long after, the Super Dragon Balls in the future are used to restore the past universes. Zamasu will continue to rebuild this timeline, and in a year's time, he'll use the Super Dragon Balls again to restore all the people he destroyed, and if there are any consequences, he'll be able to face them. He might not be able to make it like nothing ever happened, but at least he could restore what was destroyed. And following the tournament, Gohan goes up to Goten, wondering if he wants to train anymore. He seems pretty motivated, and Goten is. He even wonders if he can get that same form that Gohan has. And Gohan's not too sure. He tells Goten he probably doesn't want the form, because Gohan partially attributes it to the stuff he went through. It's not worth going through all that to get this form, but maybe he can get something else, who knows. And Goten promises Gohan he'll keep training, and one day he'll surpass his brother. And this makes Gohan happy. Glad to see that his brother's happy too. But what does he want to do now? He's had such a bad mental state and a pessimistic outlook on life for so long now. But after that experience in the future, he's starting to become his old self again. A lot more optimistic, looking forward to things, knowing that he could shape his future to be different. And he decides he's going to pursue what he's always wanted to pursue, becoming a scholar. But at the same time, he could be more than that. He could be a hero, just like the Pride Troopers. For some reason, this really resonated with him, like he wanted to become a superhero. He found that really cool. And maybe he can do that. With the great power that he has, and the power that he'll continue to have, he'll be able to use it to defend everybody. Not just his friends and family, but everybody on Earth. But he's probably going to have to start small. He doesn't really want his identity being known. But he ends up getting the perfect idea. Since he does want to pursue becoming a scholar, he's already done some private education by this point because he couldn't really learn with the other people. And he's actually surprisingly pretty good academically. And he could pursue higher education in Satan City. Gohan learns it's apparently named after someone who took credit for killing Cell. Well, you know what? He actually doesn't care about that. That's great. That means his identity's still secret. People would have definitely recognized him if they knew who killed Cell. But that settles it. He's going to study here, and he's going to start out as a superhero here too. This is the beginning of a new chapter in his life. Now we go into space for a bit. Moro is released from prison, able to break himself out with what little magic he has. He's feeling much weaker than normal, but if he's able to get the Dragon Balls on Namek, he could restore his youth and use the planet to gain some more power for himself too. Goku and Vegeta learn of this, with Goku realizing that maybe this would be a good test of his powers. You know, not his physical strength, abilities that he picked up as a Kai. Apparently, this Moro guy, he's a magician, and he used that magic to steal people's power. And Goku wonders, maybe there's a way for him to counter this power. Moro won't be able to use his gimmick, and Goku will be able to defeat him with his raw strength alone. Goku and Vegeta Kai to Namek, arriving there right before Moro does. He steps out of the ship, expecting to see the two visitors. Vegeta wants to fight, but Goku says it might be too dangerous. He's going to step in and try to utilize his magic against him. He powers up into Ultimate, and Moro can immediately sense a change in his strength, but not so much in his appearance. And Moro grins. This is perfect. So much energy for him to steal. This guy's very powerful. A fight between the two ensues. Goku is not playing around here. Well, maybe at first he will, just to get a gauge of Moro's power and kind of enjoy the battle. But at some point it's clear that Moro doesn't have enough strength to even contend with Goku, at least not at the moment. He tries to steal some energy, taking it from the planet and from Goku and Vegeta. But the second Goku starts noticing this, he's able to protect himself, kinda like what Boo did against Moro in the manga. He looks at Moro and laughs. He's not the only one who's practiced with magic. And Moro's surprised. How does this random Saiyan know magic? Little does Moro know, Goku was once a student of a Supreme Kai, and kinda still is. Partially. He tells Moro the specifics aren't important. For now, they're just gonna have a battle of raw strength. Moro realizes he's outmatched here. If his magic won't work, he's gonna have to escape. He jumps up in the air, bringing out plumes of lava from the planet, trying to block Goku as he flies out into space. But Moro is then stopped, paralyzed. Goku teleports to the side of him, holding Moro in place with paralysis. You know, this planet's supposed to be a peaceful one. Moro shouldn't be messing with it. And as he's holding Moro in place, Vegeta then jumps up, also powering into Ultimate, killing Moro before Goku can even say anything. Hey, they could have at least captured him. Vegeta says he's way too dangerous for that. He'd rather take the opportunity to get rid of Moro while they have that opportunity. Well, fair enough. At least he's done with. They even hear from Maris and the Galactic Patrol that he was going to be killed, but no one actually had the strength to do it. So I guess it all kind of works out, and that arc is completely avoided. So what happens with Granola then? Well, with no Frieza around, Granola isn't as set on revenge, and the Heaters just act as mid-level planet brokers still. Granola never uses the Dragon Balls, nor does Gas. So the Heaters kind of remain low like they've been doing, with Granola never setting the arc into motion either. So that's it. That's Dragon Ball Super, right? Well, we still got Superhero. And this is kind of what I was hinting at with Gohan. Although it's going to be a much different story here. While all this is happening, back on Earth, Gohan's continuing his studies, and also channeling his power into becoming a superhero, eventually becoming the Great Saiyan. He considers using Beast as a disguise, but he doesn't accidentally want to blow up everything by transforming. Even with ki control, just his aura alone and everything about it, the form is way too OP. It would be a great disguise, but no matter how much he holds back with it, it might be a little too much. He even tries using Super Saiyan 3 for this, but decides, yeah, the hair's kind of annoying and it gets in the way of everything. And Super Saiyan, it doesn't change him enough, so costume time. Really, he just wanted an excuse for a costume. And everything's going well in his life. A lot of time passes. It's strange for him because he doesn't really have much history with school compared to other people in Satan City, but thanks to the studying he's done and the natural intelligence he has, and some strings pulled with Bulma as a reference, he's able to start at an accelerated pace in a university going into grad school even, and he's excelling. People find him kind of strange, especially one person at his university, someone else who's also a hero in the city, Videl. He didn't know of her or really Mr. Satan either, but apparently she's the next world champion or something and pretty much a hero in the city too. Obviously this is way later than they normally met, by almost a decade even, so Videl's pretty established as a hero. Almost finished with schooling too. And when the Saiyan pops up, she thinks something kinda off about him. She's been here as a hero for so long, and then this random guy just pops up, being even better than her? Something fishy's going on here. And speaking of fishy things going on, let's go over to Red Pharmaceuticals. They're trying to figure out a plan to defeat Goku and all his friends. But there's kind of an issue with that. Well, one of the things they wanted to do is try and draw them over to the Red Ribbon base, but they don't know how to. I mean, everyone's way too strong, or not even on planet. But they're able to find out something pretty interesting. Goku's son is actually a superhero. With their surveillance, they're easily able to figure out who the Great Saiyaman is. He's the same one that defeated Cell beforehand. And now they're gonna have a new, greater Cell, so he'll be able to defeat Gohan this time around. And at the same time, they have a few other androids too. But the question is, how do they coax Gohan into coming here? They could try ambushing him with the Gammas, but that might not be enough. Especially because Dr. Hato wants to build more, but he's mostly focused on Cell Max because that's who he's told to focus on. So they're gonna have to draw Gohan here somehow, and have Cell Max defeat him. But how could they lure Gohan here? As they continue looking more into it, they find something interesting. There's another superhero in Satan City, and the Red Ribbon Army can't really tell the connection between the two. Are they rivals as heroes? Do they work together? Nobody really knows, but there apparently is a cat and mouse game between the Saiyaman and Videl, with him constantly getting in the way and her trying to constantly figure out who he is. And she's powerful, but she's just a normal human still. Also, she doesn't even know how to control her ki at this point. So maybe they could use her as bait to lure the Saiyaman into their base. As usual, Videl's out fighting crime one day, wondering where the Saiyaman is. He's in another part of the city right now, and she's gonna catch up to him, and finally figure out who he actually is. She has a strong suspicion that it's one of her classmates, Gohan. That guy's always been weird. Apparently he was schooled outside of Satan City, and he popped up here out of the blue around the same time that the Saiyaman appeared. He's always been acting fishy. Some random aircraft lands nearby, with a bunch of soldiers stepping off. She has no clue what's going on, but these guys, they seem like a threat. Especially because they're pointing guns at Videl and saying to come with them. She easily fights some of them off, surprising them with her strength, but still. They're able to capture her and take her to the Red Ribbon base. Not too long after, she finds herself in some weird location, being escorted by guards and meeting Magenta, Carmine, and Dr. Hato. She's able to fight off some more guards, with a bunch more coming in to try and stop her. Magenta's kind of surprised. She's fighting off all these soldiers so easily, but he tells her not to worry. She's not their main target and they're not going to harm her. Then she asks why she's here. Well, they need her to lure someone here, saying she'll be the perfect person to draw Gohan out here. And then, once they defeat him, they could draw Goku out and everybody else too. Wait, Gohan? That nerd from her class? Magenta finds this kind of amusing. She didn't even realize yet. He's the Great Saiyaman. Yep, she knew it. The army wanted to kidnap someone close to Gohan, or at least someone that works alongside him. Videl barely knows the guy, and they say that's not the point. They know that he'll come to save a fellow hero. They are still classmates after all, and they work together as superheroes. Gamma 2 then steps in. He says the Great Saiyaman's a fraud. He's not a real superhero. They are. And they commend Videl. They actually respect her for being a hero too. And tell her it's nothing personal. She's just a means to an end. But she says they're not real heroes. Why would they kidnap another hero for that? Gohan's not a malicious alien like they're trying to make it out to be. Well, she doesn't know about the alien part, but definitely not malicious. And Gamma 1 says don't take it out on them. It's just their orders. They'll defeat Gohan and all the other alien threats. As Gohan's out with his normal Saiyaman duties, he eventually does learn that Videl was just kidnapped in broad daylight. Apparently some evil army came in. Wait, an army? Well, he doesn't even know where to start looking, and he tries to sense any energies he can. He doesn't sense any strong ones. I mean, he can't sense the androids, and Videl's not strong enough to even sense. But he picks up on something interesting. Goten. Wait, what? His power's heightened right now. Is he fighting someone? He teleports home, and he sees Chi-Chi and Goten standing there with a fighting stance, with Goten having just defeated a couple Red Ribbon Army soldiers easily, and Chi-Chi doing the same too. He asks what's going on, and Goten says these guys just showed up at their house and tried to kidnap them. Well, the Red Ribbon Army tried to take Chi-Chi as well, thinking maybe she'd be great bait and she wouldn't be strong enough to defend against the soldiers, but they didn't know that she actually was. It is just not their day-to-day, especially because Goten was there too, and Gohan sees the symbol on their ship and on their uniforms. The Red Ribbon Army. He remembers his dad mentioning that too. They're the same guys that created the androids in Cell. He goes up to one of the soldiers, saying that he wants to go to their base, right now. And just to intimidate him, Gohan powers up into his beast form. He's not actually gonna do anything, but this freaky appearance gets this message across. And Goten tells Gohan he wants to join as well. And he warns Goten, they don't know what they're getting into. And surprisingly, Chi-Chi's all for them going there and beating up those guys. She's pissed off beyond belief. And she tells them do whatever they need to. Wow, Gohan can't believe she's actually encouraging the fighting, but alright. It makes sense after they tried to kidnap her and Goten. They go onto one of the Red Ribbon's aircrafts, being led to the base. This inadvertently did work in their favor, and just as soon as they get into the base, Gohan jumps out of the ship with Goten following. Gohan didn't even realize, he's still in uniform. But he actually should remain in it just so he keeps his identity safe from Videl. Although she's probably going to be wondering who the hell Goten is, but thankfully she has no reference of who he is. And just as soon as they arrive, Gamma 1 and 2 jump out, ready to fight the two hybrid Saiyans. Gamma 1 jumps in at Gohan, and Gamma 2 jumps in at Goten. They didn't expect Goten to be here, but hey, even better. Another alien they can get rid of. Aw, sick! More androids. Goten heard about them fighting androids beforehand, but there's more of them to fight now? He's hyped up, and Gohan says to be careful. They don't know what to expect with these guys. But he knows Goten's strong. He has been training still after all. And he powers up into Super Saiyan 3. And just as soon as he does so, he senses another power approaching. It's Trunks. They got into a fight and they didn't even tell him? He sensed Gohan and Goten's powers rising. Goten apologizes, it just all happened very fast. Trunks says it's fine, just next time don't exclude him from a fight. He powers up into Super Saiyan 2, fighting alongside Goten. Gamma 2 is actually being pushed back by the two of them, and Gamma 1's not faring so well either, especially once Gohan powers up even more. He goes into Super Saiyan 2 and easily defeats Gamma 1, then jumping in to help Goten and Trunks defeat Gamma 2. They all then power down. Was that it? They then hear someone yell out, "I knew it," as Videl fights through a bunch of Red Ribbon soldiers, seeing Gohan standing there in the Saiyan outfit. Crap, he didn't even realize. Did they even need to come here though? She seems to be handling herself just fine, and she looks over and sees the two Gammas defeated. Well, she tells them what she heard. Those two were created to kill Gohan, and they wanted to lure him in here just to get the other people to come in here as well. They're trying to kill him? What did he do? Oh yeah, he killed their perfect creation. Wait, he was the one to do that? Videl thought that it was Mr. Satan. Alright, great, another piece of info that Gohan gave away. Well, the gig is up. He changed out of the Saiyan outfit by clicking on his watch. And he asked her, please don't tell anybody. He doesn't want to take credit for Cell, and Mr. Satan can keep all the credit for that. Also, keep his identity a secret, please. Goten and Trunks sense something strange, and ask Gohan if he could feel that too. He wasn't even paying attention, but now that they mention it, yeah, he does. They then hear a voice being projected out. It's Magenta. He greets them all here, and he's impressed that they defeated the Gammas, but he tells them that's not the only thing that they have. He'd like to introduce all of them to Cell Max. Cell? What, did they make another one? Nearby there's a massive explosion, as Cell Max jumps out. It's a giant cell! They tell Videl to get to safety as they all power up. Goten didn't realize he signed up for this, and Gohan told him he warned him. But he tells Goten and Trunks that they'll be fine. At least, he hopes so. He'll protect them. He is a hero after all. He's got to save everybody here. But at the same time, they can help fight. They're strong enough on their own. Trunks has Super Saiyan 2. Goten has Super Saiyan 3. And Gohan, he powers up into his beast form. Cell Max launches towards them, with Gohan jumping in front of Goten and Trunks. He blocks a punch from Cell Max, and it doesn't hurt too much. Thankfully, Gohan's already way too strong. But Gohan starts attacking, with Goten and Trunks following suit. And none of their attacks are working. For some reason, Cell Max is just incredibly durable. Gohan's attacks are accomplishing something, but Cell Max is stronger than the normal Cell Max too. Although he's still not completed yet. The brainwashing's not done, he's still a mindless monster. They don't realize though, he has a weak spot in his head. The three of them continue fighting, and he just seems unstoppable. Cell Max's attacks aren't really hurting Gohan too much, but Goten and Trunks can't really defend against him that well, so Gohan has to do a lot of the work here. But no matter what attacks he launches at Cell, they're not really doing too much. Nearby as the fight goes on, Gamma 1 and 2 regain consciousness, and they see Cell Max raging out. Wait, that's Cell Max? That's the monster that Dr. Hato was making? Because that's what it is, a monster. And Videl's standing nearby. They can't believe what they're seeing, and she tells them, does that look like a superhero to them? He's trying to kill those three. Gohan is a superhero too, even if they don't think he is. And a small ship flies over. It's Dr. Hato. He lands near the Gammas and Videl. He tells them, Cell Max wasn't supposed to be unleashed this early. He's a rampaging monster, and he finally sees what he's created. And Gamma 1 and 2 realize how dire the situation is. They've been on the wrong side. And Hato realizes that too. But thankfully, there might be a way to defeat him. Cell Max has a weak point in his head. They just need to get Gohan to learn about that. Gamma 1 and 2 say they'll help. They could try to fight Cell Max, more importantly, they just need to get the message to Gohan. They fly into the battle, with Goten and Trunks about to fight them, thinking that they're trying to get involved in Gohan's battle. But they get them to stop. They realize they were wrong. They just need to tell Gohan something. Aim for the head. That's how they can defeat Cell Max. Goten yells out to Gohan, aim for the head. Wait, what? This entire time he had that weak point? Well, at least that's gonna make things easier. But he needs to be precise with this. Gohan puts a finger on his head, charging a Makanko Sapa, yelling out as he launches the attack at Cell, hitting him directly in the head. And pretty easily, it defeats Cell Max. of course generating a huge explosion too. And just like that, the Red Ribbon Army is defeated once more. They all fly back to Videl and Hato, with Gohan surprised to meet the doctor behind it all. Hato tries to apologize, but he knows there's not really an excuse. He wanted to make superheroes, and he failed at that. Gamma 1 and 2 are disappointed as well. Well, at least he realized what he did was wrong. But the Gammas want to make up for it. They still do want to be superheroes. Thankfully, there wasn't much damage done to anywhere else. But still, the Red Ribbon Army did kidnap Videl and tried to kill Gohan. It's not like they're just going to be instantly forgiven here. But Gamma 1 and 2 make a pledge. They want to be true superheroes now. They'll follow Gohan's guidance. And Videl's too. They can become superheroes in Saiyan City. And Dr. Hato actually likes this idea. He could become one too. He has the heart and skin after all. And Hachimaru to help him. Well, Gohan's not too sure, but they seem genuine about it at least. I mean, what are his options here? Unjustly just wipe them off the face of the map, or let them try and turn over a new leaf? Videl's not too sure about it, but Gohan tells her, if anything does go wrong, Gohan could easily defeat the Gammas, and obviously Hato as well. And Saiyan City could use some other superheroes too. Reluctantly, she agrees. So what happens following this? Gohan continues to study, even becoming a published author as well. His biggest regret is that he didn't bring any books to study in the Room of Spirit and Time, or at least not enough. That would have helped him get a little bit more ahead. He continues being a superhero, and thankfully Videl does keep his secret, and the two start working together as heroes more, growing closer as colleagues and friends. But it's not just them either. 3 other heroes appear in Saiyan City: Gamma 1, Gamma 2, and Dr. Hato. And Gohan gets an awesome idea from this. They have 5 people just like the Ginyu Force. They should all come up with special poses. Gamma 1 and Videl are the only one that are a little bit unsure of it, but they eventually warm up to it, all becoming a Saiyaman crew. It's amazing. Gohan's gonna become a scholar. He's become a superhero. He has a crew of friends here, and his life has completely turned around. It's not just him either. Goku's finally being taken seriously by Beerus and Whis, closing the gap between him and Vegeta and probably even surpassing Vegeta once again, much to Vegeta's surprise. He wasn't affected as harshly as Gohan was by being trapped in the Room of Spirit and Time. He regained his optimistic demeanor, and now the future is bright for him as well, with him and Vegeta utilizing Ultimate to grow even stronger. But even though they have this same transformation, they each utilize it a little bit differently. The two prepare for another sparring match like usual. Vegeta powers up, surrounded by a fiery purple aura, utilizing the power of Ultra Ego while in Ultimate. Goku does the same, except his aura is a little bit different. He utilizes the power of Ultra Instinct while in Ultimate. And Beerus kinda regrets not taking Goku in sooner. But as long as these two could be his rivals in the future, continuing to grow stronger, he's happy about it. Despite this massive setback, Gohan has returned. And Goku is stronger than ever. It was a double-edged sword. Yeah, the Room of Spirit and Time did make them a lot stronger, but at the cost of so many years of their lives. But now, it's like it never even happened. They've moved past it, grown from it, physically and mentally. Even being trapped in a completely separate realm didn't defeat them. Against all odds, they're able to make it through, literally making it through the realm, and making it through all the mental anguish and everything else that followed. And with that, we leave off here. So, what'd you guys think about this part in the series as a whole? This is being recorded in mid-October right now, so I might end up continuing something if there's a new arc or something. I'm waiting for the manga to come back. As always, I'd like to thank you all for watching, and thanks for supporting the series as it went along. Be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Hopefully you'll enjoy this scenario, and I'll see you all in my next video.